Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
When you in the trenches, it's cool to shoot them bullets. How you gonna defend yourself when them bullets coming back?
Davis thought Santa Cruz was gonna fold from his.
The popular and acclaimed defending WBA lightweight champion of the world.
If it was the streets, these niggas would been smoked. Pack all the whole group up. Pack them up and get them the fuck out of boxing.
Haney, Cambosis, one of those folks, maybe Garcia.
All them guys is easy work. They're easy work, man. I'm the top dog.
The hard-hitting young star of boxing, 3-division world champion.
Skill for skill. I'm much more skillful than Canelo. I stand on that. I'm much more skillful. You and Cambosis, what happens, Tank? I'm whooping that ass. Tell him come see me. Tell him hold the belts. I'll whoop his ass for free.
The defending world champion from Baltimore, Maryland.
We from the city. You know what's happening, what's in the city.
TheBoxingVoice.com.
Gervonta Tank Davis.
SDS Promotions.
I remember walking in Mayweather, me sitting on the couch. I told him a bum ass fighter. He ain't say nothing, not one word. He got a fur on, it's 80 degrees on him.
What up, what up, what up? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Nesta Gibbs. Solo Dolo, Scarface, No Manolo. We back for another one, man. We're here to discuss. It's fight week, man. It's fight week. Tank Davis has come out and stated that he wants to be more active in 2025, and hopefully, quote unquote, hopefully, I got 3 fights this year. So this is the second month, which means he could easily get a summer fight anywhere between June, July, August, and then a winter fight anywhere between October, November, December. So 3 fights for Tank this year is what he's claiming. We have the audio, video to show you. And yeah, that's what we're going to be discussing. If you guys are interested, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up. Get up in queue. Call in. Voice your opinion. Voice of the People hotline. Let's talk some boxing. It's fight week, man. It is fight week. Tank Davis, big fight. We also got some audio from his trainer, Barry Hunter, on who Barry would like to see Tank Davis mix it up with in that ring, and the opponents Barry has in mind. So we're going to be also showing you that audio, video as well. So once again, if you're just joining us here on YouTube, go ahead and smash that thumbs up. It's going to help with the visibility. That is a free way to support the show. Let's get into the first clip, courtesy of Premier Boxing Champions, clipped up by Ring TV, making our job a lot easier. So here is the Ring TV clip. Audio is up. We going for it.
What are you hoping to accomplish?
So he's looking to figure it out.
To accomplish.
His trainer obviously had some fights in mind, and those are some fights that we've already heard before. So I'm sure Barry Hunter not making this up and instead getting it from the camp and what they would prefer. This is Barry Hunter. Shout out to Fight Hub TV for the interview. And obviously my man's taking long, but this is Barry Hunter. This is Barry Hunter. No sound nest. What in the world to the world? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So was there no sound on either? Just so we know, because I'm actually hearing the sound. I'm trying to figure out what the hell. Let me double check. Did I not clip this? Okay, I didn't. We good. We good. We'll go back to the original clip. It's all good. Mistakes happen. You know, we work through them. This is the original clip with audio. Here we go again.
And it all begins this Saturday against Lamont Roach.
Stay in the ring more this year for sure. I probably got I want to say hopefully I got 3 fights this year. Hopefully. But I'm looking forward to Lamont Roach come March the 1st, and we'll figure out after that.
All right. So now you definitely got the audio. We'll skip to the next
What are
clip.
you hoping to accomplish this
Let's
year
get back to that.
in 2020?
Pause it. Get to this next clip by Barry.
That you would like to see him in the ring with?
As a fan,
Sure.
as a boxing fan, me, I like to see Inoue.
You want to see Inoue come up and fight him?
Yes, or we meet somewhere in the middle.
So Barry Hunter wants to see Inoue and Tank Davis. He wants them to meet somewhere in the middle, or for Inoue to come up. It would be a big fight for Tank.
Why? And the reason why, because he was named the monster for a reason. I'm a fan, but nevertheless, he's explosive, he's skillful, and I think it's somebody that will, challenge what we do.
But do you think that quiets that? Because if Tank fights Inoue, that's another fighter coming up. Would you not
That is another fighter coming up.
want to see him in there with some of the best fighters in his division right now, the champs?
You do realize that Tank easily is not a real 140 or 135 pounder. Actually, he's a small guy. He's just explosive.
He said easily. I mean, until we see him make 130 again, I don't know that we can't say he's not a 35 pounder, right? Like, I don't know. You fighting in the division, you making the weight. I know that the last fight, though, I think he weighed in 133, so there could be some truth to this, to what Barry's saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And make him look bigger than what he is. But nevertheless, he can make that weight. Who would you like for him to see?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I would like to see him fight one of the champs at 135. Keyshawn, Shakur, Loma.
Loma, I love. Again, based on skill. You know what I mean? Keyshawn.
Loma he loved. They skipped over the young man in Keyshawn.
I'm cool with that too. I don't care. That's Gervonta. You feel me? So whatever, whoever.
Barry better not care. He ain't the one getting in there taking them punches. But shout out to Barry Hunter. He wants to see Tank in there with Inoue or Lomachenko. He feels Loma is the one to get in there with. Yeah, he's the one there to get in there with, is what they thinking. So yeah, man, this is what we're talking about. If you guys are interested, I do apologize for the, bit of stuttering and dead air there, getting these phone messages and just trying to stay up to date. We do got the big event with Border Wars in 3 days. We got a lot of last minute people trying to get in where they fit in. I just got someone's mom called me and wanted me to match her kid, and her kid is actually an adult, but he doesn't have any fights, and the only person I have available is a 10-fight veteran, so you already know. Yeah, man, Dodge J, baby. This is fight week, man. 2 shows a day on Tank because it's fight week. Junior Face of Boxing, man. You already know what it is. Phone lines are open if you want to call in and talk about this week's action. Specifically, it was media day, and everyone was out showing the world just what exactly they can do in terms of the preparation that they went through for this particular fight camp. So these quotes came out of today's media workout, and we're promoting this big fight. Tank versus Lamont Roach, probably going to be one of the biggest fights of this year. If you want to call in, now is the time. Let's see what we got going on in our live chat right here on youtube.com/The Boxing Voice. Live chat, power chat. Looking like we got El Consejero, $2. Would you pay for the Tank fight if you were at home? What do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, I always pay for it at home, man. I don't know what you mean. But I did get a call today, and somebody's like, yo, you watching the Tank fight? I'm like, of course. And they like, yo, who's this guy? Roach, is he good? And I'm like, yo, he's a champion. And they like, yeah, but is he good? I'm like, hey, he's a champion. And, I asked, like, yo, you buying it? He's like, hell no, I got the Fire Stick. Bro, it seems like everybody got it. I didn't know it was that crazy like that, bro. Honestly. Never knew Fire Stick was that, like, worldwide. Everybody got a fucking Fire Stick. It's like the first thing they talk about now, And right away, I'm like, is it easy to find? And they're like, yeah, it's always right there. It's easy to find. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't deal with it. I'm always doing live fight chats. I'll be 5 minutes behind, and you guys get mad at me. Imagine with a Fire Stick, man. It just wouldn't be. It wouldn't be right. The audio, the visuals. I don't know. I can't deal with no spinning wheels and none of that craziness. That was the Consejero with the first super chat of the day. We got the next one coming through. Pull out Bandit, $2. Dare to be great, like y'all want Bud to do. Are we talking a new way, daring to be great? And he put 3 upside down smiley faces. Are we talking about a new way being great by moving up a couple divisions to try to meet up with Tank? If you want the chat to stay open, remember to hit that thumbs up. Right now we got 400 people watching, only 100 thumbs up. This is why we usually are members only. I'm trying to do you a little solid and leave it open. But in order to keep it open, we're going to have to make sure that you guys are hitting that thumbs up. None of that funny business. You know what I mean? None of that funny business. If I see that the number of thumbs up just ain't equating to the number of lives, we're going to hit them up with the switch them up, fix them up, as King Born would say. So right now, it is subscribers only, so everybody can comment, and we're going to keep it that way as long as, we get some equal love over here. We got Big Gucci Nick, Albany. What it do?
Yo, what up, gang? How the audio?
Straight.
Yeah, man. Tell him pack him up and get him out of boxing, man. Yo, Ness, you smart as fuck, man. You smart. You know this is a big fight, man. And you mentioned it's one of the biggest fights of the year. The face of boxing carrying his own weight, man. Super attraction. Spectacle, man. Every time he fights, you just feel the big fight energy, man. It's like in the late 80s when Mike Tyson was coming up, man. He was knocking dudes out. We don't care who the fuck he was fighting. We just wanted to watch him. I'm not saying I grew up in the 80s, but, like, I remember seeing a huge crowd and everybody, like, talking about it and shit. So, yeah, man. Big fight week. I can't wait, man. But look, that Inoue shit, right? that's a huge fucking fight, man. Them dudes would get paid. I mean, Inoue is already like partner with Riyadh Season, the T-shirt, $20 million T-shirt. Um, so yo, that fight could happen. Turkey got to throw Tank a bag, and that's a massive fight, bro. Look, if they meet at 130, Monster would be moving up 2 weight divisions, but I still think it's a great fucking fight, bro. Tank said in an old interview he liked to watch Inoue a lot, man. He even posted on X Spaces in Monster's last fight and wished him good luck, man. But obviously I got Tank, probably by split decision, to be honest with you. Just keeping it real. I still think it's a competitive fight, you feel me? But yo, Shakur, brittle hands, fucking Stevenson, man, bailing out, talking about he ain't fighting Tank till his hand is good. Man, look, remember I said this was gonna be a perfect timeline, bro. Cause Shakur fought last week, bro, and Tank's fighting Saturday, bro. It would have been perfect. Now he want to pull this broken hand shit, bro. Every time he fights, he breaks his hand, bro. What them shits made out of, bro? That's crazy. Um, but yo, hopefully Tank takes like a month break, right? I was looking at the calendar. If they fight in they fought in July last year, Ness. When
Who's
was it during
that?
the summer? Was it
Who's
June?
that? Who you talking about exactly?
Tank.
Oh, his last fight, Tank.
No, last year when he fought during the summer.
What's the question?
I was just trying to see like what time of year Tank was fighting, like what month he picked during the summer, because after this fight, he can probably take like a month. Hopefully Stevenson heals up and probably fight in like June or July if he fought around that time last year.
Yeah, I'm
You feel
thinking
me?
June, July, August, and then October, November, December would be your next fight date. But in terms of when he's last been in the ring and what summer dates, I'm pulling up his resume here, and he fought Frank Martin in June the 15th, Garcia the year before that in April 22nd. And before that, his summer fight was Rolly at the Barclays a few days before my birthday, May 28th. With Isak was in December, which means he could do a third fight this year in December. Barrios was in June in Atlanta, so that is the summer. So yeah, he's got the dates and he's used those months already, so he could definitely get it done again. Feel free to call in if you want to call in and voice your opinion. We're talking Tank Davis stating today at the media workout that he wants to fight 3 times this year. 3 times this year. And the way that it looks, it is certainly a possibility that he can do that. We got H-Town on the check-in. If you're watching this on YouTube, free way to support. Hit the thumbs up. H-Town, what up?
What up, Ness? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
H-Town, baby. Hey, Nick, you tripping, dog. Don't ever mention Tank and Tyson like their fights feel the same. Bro, Tyson used to have block parties. That's my era, man. I mean, block parties. We used to ride around bikes and you could stop at every other house. They had the TV outside watching Tyson. I ain't never seen that for Tank anywhere. Get up out of here. Edgar Berlanga had a bigger fight party than goddamn Tank did. It is what it is. But hey, Ness, if you want to fight 3 times this year, hey, that's good as long as they're meaningful fights. I mean, they're saying they knew it. Is that what they want to see? I mean, the only way
that's what his
that
trainer
seems
is
like
saying he wants. A new way, yeah.
I mean, the only way that's a fair fight is if they meet at 130 and Tank's on a rehydration clause, so he can't balloon back up to like 170, 160, or 150, whatever he is when he balloons back up. I mean, he was at 133 pounds during Ramadan, and he said he felt great. So I mean, he could make 130. So I mean, according to him, he could make 130. So I mean, the only way that fight's gonna be even is is if he's on a rehydration clause because Inoue ain't gonna get no much bigger than 130. You know what
Well,
did Inoue start?
I
One
mean, they said they were willing to do it at a meet somewhere in the middle, so that means Tank would get down too. Maybe Tank could go down to 130 or maybe 133, 32.
Yeah, that's too much weight for Inoue, man. I mean, like I said, there'll have to be some
What
kind of
you mean? Wait
rehydration
a minute.
clause
Wait
in
a
there.
minute. Wait a minute. Inoue's at 22, bro. We're talking about 8 pounds. 10
but I
pounds.
mean, he started off at what 107.
So did Pacquiao.
I mean, come on, man. His framing, he's a small frame guy. I know it, man. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to watch it. Hey, that's Godzilla versus King Kong. It sells itself,
Yeah.
I mean, the shirts will be the damn fight shirts will be the most probably highest selling fight shirts ever. They have King Kong, Godzilla on them, and them fighting in between the buildings or something. It had to be like in New York. It was in New York.
Should they go King Kong or should Tank still represent the gorilla? You know that Godzilla and King Kong fought. Or
Yeah,
was
that's what
it
I'm
God?
saying.
Oh, I didn't hear
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah. The gorilla versus the Godzilla, the lizard, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, it sells itself. It sells itself, but I mean, what would this mean to his legacy? Another small guy coming
he's
up.
beating up. But it would be an undisputed champ, right? A 2-time undisputed champ.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. On paper, but I mean, why is no one saying Shakur? Why even this thing didn't say Shakur?
But it's not your time.
Well, I don't understand why they avoid him so much, Ness. I'm out.
All right, champ. Phone lines are open if you're looking to call in. We got Hugo the Juice. What up?
Yes, sir. Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah, man. Here we go. Bringing up Inoue that started out at what? What did he start off at? 108. Here we go, bringing up the little guy again, and then here we go now bringing up Lomachenko. That's on his last ride. On his way out. Here we go, bringing these two guys that are pretty much coming in the fight handicapped. Am I coming in clear?
Yep.
Come on, man. I don't know why, like H-Town just said, why aren't we bringing up Shakur? Why aren't we bringing up Devin? Why aren't we bringing up Tio or Ryan? The rematch without a rehydration clause, man. There you go. I don't know if he's the new coach of Tank, or he's been with him on the sidelines, man. But all they want to fight is handicapped people, bro, coming into the fight, man. They don't want a fair squabble, man. If he says he's the little guy, then he shouldn't be campaigning at 135. He should leave that division clear, so we won't be getting a bad misconception, man. He should go down to 130, stay there, and then if he were to be at 130 for a couple fights, then it would be a little bit more adjustable for Inoue to come up from 122. But he's at 135. He's trying to bring up the little guy. I know he started off at 108 or 112, and now he's at 122. But still, man, come on. He knows what he's doing, trying to weight drain people or trying to move people up. I don't know, man. But did you see the news about
but this
the
the same thing
WC
Canelo
mandating
doing.
David Benavidez?
This is the same thing Canelo's doing. Canelo's about to fight a 2-time undisputed guy moving up 2 divisions.
Yeah, but I mean that's true. That's true. But Canelo already wrote down his legacy, so he gets a pass. He gets a pass, man. He already gave us the best fights he could during his era. We want Tank to do it now, man. He wants to be the face of boxing, so we want him to give us a Shakur fight. We want him to give us the Devin fight, the Teal fight, man. We don't want him bringing up little guys. We want a fair squabble, man. We want to see if the power is real with a real fighter with no rehydration clause and not being handicapped. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But what do you think about the WBC Mauricio mandating the Benavidez versus Bivol?
Yeah, I mean
Have you seen that or no?
that's cool, but Mauricio, it would be better for Mauricio to have him jump the line because right now he's at the back of the line, so it don't matter that they mandated. He's not next.
So how does he jump the line? Who makes that call? The WBA?
No, there's already an order. I don't know. I don't know how politics. If he can somehow get politics to get him to jump, but Michael Effort's next. Then it's Then it's
And
Callum Smith, and then it's David Benavidez.
well, hopefully not. But my last thing, hey, did you see the what's it what the pay was for the
Because they
last
feel
percento?
like it's your
Why is
time,
Bivol only getting 10
but
million
it's not
and
your time.
Tyson got 100 million and it's both for undisputed match? Man, god damn, I think they overpaid Tyson and Usyk. But whatever,
I
man.
mean, they
I don't
heavyweights. They
understand.
heavyweights, bro. You can't compare 68, 75 pounders to the heavyweight division, man. They bring in the casual eyeballs, but I'm assuming this is Dion joint with Troy, right?
Yeah, this is Dion. He can't hear you because I got on my earphones, but I could translate in Dominican boxing voice languages.
Nah, I mean, you wanted to get him on and say a couple words. I got Quan listening, so what's the deal?
Yeah, what you got something to say to Quan? You want to talk to them about the opportunity you get by having your first amateur fight on this type of platform?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I'm ready for Saturday.
That's what's up,
You got
man.
something you want to ask?
I mean, I guess, did he look at any of the tape, and does he care to look at tape?
He said, "Did you look at any of Quan's tape, and do you care to look?"
I never looked at anything, and I never really asked to.
Okay. Zero fear.
Yes. How much you weigh right now?
180,
How much weight did you come from?
230.
How long
How
has
did you
that
do
been?
that?
Changed my diet and worked out differently. I worked out with you and helped me drop my weight significantly.
Actually, he had his own kind of program because he started, instead of running, he uses a bike because I told him running is too detrimental for his knees. So he bikes because it's easier on the knees. It's kind of like what the Klitschko's do in the pool. But yeah,
So, how long has the weight journey been?
how long has the weight journey been?
I'd say when I start changing,
Well, you were still in the 200s before you really changed.
yeah, but like I just got out of the 200s like a couple months ago, I'd say.
He just got out of 200s a couple months ago, is because when you change your diet as abruptly as we did, you will lose a little weight and then you plateau. So he had plateaued for a minute, and then made some intricate changes on his diet and his workout program, and then he got a couple viruses which your body produced from when you change your diet dramatically because it's trying to detox the body immediately. And I told him, don't change the diet, keep doing what you're doing. It's a part of the process. The same things happened to me. And then he was like, man, my weight down. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not gonna come back. And then he just kept losing from there.
So, what's the weigh-in weight? 189?
What's
I'm asking. I'm asking.
it just depends on what Quan wants to weigh. Dion ain't really tripping because it was 3 different weights. But he will be fighting, like he's fighting on the 1st, the 8th, and the 15th.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I got a
he's
schedule.
gonna be fighting. He's gonna be fighting at 178. So I would like him to always be around that weight. But from his body type, it looks like 175, he might get there and just be able to hold that because he was a linebacker when he played football. So he's not like a wide receiver frame.
Bad.
You got anything you want to add? You good? All right,
Yeah,
my
man.
nigga.
Can't wait to
Salute
meet
to the
you
gym.
on Saturday, man.
Yeah, he's a man of few words, bro. We
Nah,
really don't even talk that much,
it's
but
understandable.
he got it in him. I'm trying to bring it out of him. That's all. But I just wanted to come on here and let him get to speak for himself. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm full-fledged coaching now, so some of my attitude will be different. I won't be like using certain languages, because USA Boxing be looking at things. You never know who's there. Um, Akai is already suspended for fighting at the boxing tournament, slapping somebody. So the USA Boxing not renewing this thing, because you know what I'm saying. So and I'm with Benjamin Boxing, and
Bet.
we have a lot going on. Andre Ward stops through there. I'm just grateful for all the opportunities, and I'm be coaching some pros here pretty soon.
Okay. Who you got?
I got Ava Knight
Hmm.
and Aaron Coley.
What Ava's weighing these days? Damn, she been around for a minute.
Ava's still small, man. She can't get a
How
fight. She
how
was trying.
small? Too
Ava
small? What weight? Because right now women's boxing's
around
kind of
like
jumping.
Ava probably like 116, 117, right 120. She had 2 children. She married, but she was trying to get a bare knuckle fight, and they keep turning her down. But I'm
Mm.
like, Ava, what do you expect? You was a knockout artist. They're not just
Damn.
about to hand you a scrap.
So when you start working with her?
um,
When are you gonna start rather?
we already kind of started because we be on the phone. And Ava, my sister for real, she a Leo, and we used to train together, sleep in the gym together. Pause. Not like that, but we used to be, I used to be grinding in the gym in the next room. She was the champ at the time, and I respected that. She had a real title. She was number one. She wasn't. When we dealt with Ben Batista, Ava was off limits. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like it don't matter how she got a profession, so we can't ruin that. So that's what we was on. That was the champ, and and she's a real lady of boxing. Blood, respect to her husband. He's a good man, and we just looking to just maybe get a 3 or 4 fight deal, work some fights, get some things going. Talk to Floyd about some things. Just learn how to get some capital and work with that.
I bet, champ. Listen, if you guys want to call in, now is the time. Phone lines are open. So what do you think about Barry Hunter saying that they wouldn't mind getting a crack at, Inoue for Tank?
That's always a good fight. At this point, Tank has never said that he wanted to be a all-time great. He's always stated he wanted to be a pay-per-view star. You know what I mean? And I heard someone say that. And my bad, bro. I got my phone been going crazy. I heard somebody say that, and that's him in a major mega fight with Inoue in Japan, or he's from Japan, right? Want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I'm not disrespecting, cuz. Yeah, shout out to Japan. Um, shout out to my Japanese people. Yeah, I would like to see it. At this point, it's like it's the golden era, man. Hey, I got a question for you, real. Who is Bob Santos?
What you mean? World class trainer of the year.
No, who he train?
Shit, a bunch of people.
Who?
Lanier Perot, Mario Barrios, Elijah Garcia, Luis Nunez. I mean, it's too many, bro.
I was just asking, bro, because I was trying to get a fight, and then the guy who the matchmaker, my man Ali, was just explaining that um somebody had him talk to Bob Santos and all of that. And I was just wondering who he was because I don't really pay attention to these guys. I have like so much doing now. But yeah, no, I would like to see Inoue and Cousin. I wouldn't mind seeing that for the simple fact that it's just a mega fight, and at this point, it's good for those fights because Shakur and them are not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, he could pick up that bag. It's a dude moving up. He shouldn't lose. It makes his profile bigger. And you're right, the Shakur fight ain't going nowhere. The Inoue fight is probably bigger than the Shakur fight, just off the strength
No,
of who
clearly.
Inoue is, and the fake power he got. You're gonna get those people to believe that he could really keep doing what he's doing.
Most definitely. Um, if Tank is, Tank do a lot of trolling, man. I'm starting to realize that. And then he does that to create status and bring, attention to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just listen, how do we as a community forget that the man was just at the podium talking like he was retired?
I mean, he did that in a few interviews, to be real. He just did that.
Yeah, and I'm just giving the respect. Hey, throw me my hat, D. Pause. I'm just giving him the respect. Like, now he talking about fighting 3 times. So you was just, yeah, it don't matter. You just trolling. Like, and I know he want to fight because there's money to be made, bro. And so get your bread in your way. After Roach in your way, you know, he a knockout puncher, so he don't have a lot of wear and tear on his body. So
Hey,
get
yo,
these
they
fights
mad as
in.
hell. Y'all mad as hell. I said fake power. So y'all really think that power gonna carry up when he fight Tank? Like, what the fuck?
Man, what? Listen, I wish these people. Look, Inoue come from what weight?
Like 102, 8, some shit.
Man, listen, how tall is he?
I don't know. I gotta check, bro. He ain't
Because
big.
listen, the thing is, Pacquiao was at that little weight, but Pacquiao has slight height for his size. You know what I'm saying? So he big at those weights, and then when he decides to come up, he's at his natural weight.
The man's 5'5".
Yeah, he got the
All
potential
right,
chance
so
to have the power carry up.
Oscar says it ain't gonna
Yes.
carry up, but it ain't fake. I mean, listen, if your power don't carry up, it's pretty fake.
If he five, if he 5'5", I'm gonna have to disagree
What you mean?
because your height determines if your power gonna carry up because it helps your body fill out at the weight. I look retarded walking around at 180. People think I'm on the juice, but if I was 5'9" or 5'11", 180, it'll fill out better. So when you coming up in weight in boxing, if you tall like Sugar Ray Robinson was at 5'10" at 130. So you gotta think about that. Like that's the size of a middleweight. So when he grows into his body, he's eventually gonna be a middleweight,
Yeah, I mean
just like Tommy Hearns.
on fight night, you think Inoue gonna grow into his body, carry that weight up?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he has the potential chance for his punching power to carry up. But what's not gonna carry if you don't have it right now is the defense. It's not about your power at that level, guys. It's about if you got defense, a la Roberto Duran. He was a great defender against Iran Barkley to weather the storm so that his power could articulate his style at middleweight. I know that was a lot, bro. I'm just in coaching mode. I'm sorry.
What up, Johnny from the Hangout Spot here on YouTube?
What's up with Uncle Johnny out here, baby? Big bro John.
What's popping? That's what's popping. The preacher of the panel is back, man. What's up, Troy?
Yeah, I was just really wanting Dion, my fighter, to come on, but Ness want start asking me questions. We about to really go to the gym and train out of Benjamin Boxing. We gonna be at Border Wars, man. Really getting some good work in. I'm excited. It's a great event. 10:30 a.m. Be there. Be on weight. Make sure you have a good meal to rehydrate with. It's gonna be a good
Well,
event.
weigh-in is
CYP
at
main
8.
event.
Weigh-in is at 8. Doors open at 10 for general public, but weigh-in is at 8.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah. I
You
got
have like a
Juan
certain time. But...
out of Houston. What up? Huang Houston X Spaces. Okay. Hawk, Maryland. Gotta unmute, Hawk. Don't forget, we're going to be having the president of the WBO on the show. So if you're a member or a Patreon, take advantage. Drop a question. First come, first serve.
Yo, Ness.
Hawk, what up?
Yeah.
Ain't too much, bro. How you feeling today? Hey, shit, that's the boy Tank, man, the dude is off the chain, man. What's up with that? Showing up to the joint, then walking out the ring like the dude did in the fight.
What you mean?
I mean, he came to the press conference two hours late. Then when he get up in the ring, he came in the ring. They said a little something to him, And then when it's time for him to do his workout like everybody else did, he just walked out the ring.
Yeah, nah, man, he a star, man. He don't do that shit. We show up late and we don't give the people what they want.
Tank?
Yeah.
That's not what
Yo, that
Floyd
was
did, and
crazy.
that's why people don't get the money that Floyd got.
It wouldn't be
All the sorry, Mr. Johnny, all the all-time greats
Yeah.
always give you a show at they media workouts. All of them, if you watch Rainy Day Boxing.
People feel like they got what's that shit called prank? Yeah, they feel like they got prank messing with him on that one, dog. They feel like they got prank from the superstar. Hey man, I watched the other Joker work out, man. I don't know. It don't look like he gonna stand a chance. His stance the way he is. I don't know, man. This fight might don't go too far. I hope he do. I hope he
Hey,
do
what did
good
you think
though.
about his stance, sir? Elaborate on how he stand, because I noticed that too, and I know that's an intricate detail that people don't know. Could you elaborate on how he stands?
It just looks like he's gonna get caught with left hooks very easy. I mean, he put a lot of his weight. I think his weight is on his back foot, but it's an awkward stance. I'm just not really used to seeing the way he when he line up to throw his shots, he just seems wide open for hooks. The way he fight, the way he was doing it. Well, that could just been the
Now
way
when
he
you
spar.
say left hook, you talking about the backhand? Because you know Tank a southpaw, so it would be a right hook.
Right, it'd be right. Yeah, he just seems open for it, man. He seems open, like he seems robotic when you watch him. You know, he reminds me of Anthony Joshua a little bit with the stiffness. He seems stiff. That's what I'm looking for. You know, and you can't be like
Amen
that
to
with
that.
Tank. Tank is fluid, man. You can't be like that with him. So you know, that's what I noticed. I don't think this fight gonna go far, go long. But yeah, that's my take on it, man. You know, yeah, Tank is a star, but I just think he should have did a little workout. Just Floyd used to do it in a jokingly manner. He would do it to do a little pad work, and he didn't really work out hard. He didn't do that like he was really in there working out. He would just do a little show. But I guess Tank doing it different. But that's my call, man. I think that the boy he's open for hooks. He's stiff. He's
You may
robotic.
feel like it's your time, but it's not your
Number
time.
one.
Hawk, you the man. You the man.
I mean, obviously the stakes are higher, so we just went a little harder. That's about it. But every camp I train my ass off to be the best, to be in the best shape that I can be, to be the best where I can be mentally, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's just we just amped it up a little bit.
Do you believe, Tank is trying to get in your head like he's gotten in other opponents' heads previous fights?
I mean, maybe he might have tried, but it's not successful. I think he noticed that too. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, there's mutual respect between each other. But if he gonna troll, I'm gonna troll back. It ain't nothing to it.
It's DC Baltimore.
We got Fats on the check-in.
Man, I really hope Roach shows up, man, and makes this a good fight, man.
Yeah. Yo.
What up, champ?
Yo, what up? Man, what's his name? Troy got his man looking bad. Yo, they saying he gonna get knocked out by a calm in the chat. Man, that shit, they said
They was calling Troy Troy Schofield in the chat because he ain't let Dion talk.
Yeah. They said Troy holding him hostage. He did. He did look like a hostage in a corner. When he grabbed the earphones and was like, I got what you coming on. That's like, yeah, get him on the call, get him on. He like, no, I got the earphones on. I'm gonna just translate it to him in Dominican, but he can't hear you though. I said, what the fuck? What kind of shit is that? And then when he get to talking, he's speaking in English. I said, hell no, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. And then when he was done, he like, yeah, he only a man of a few words. I said, God damn, I'm thinking like Troy Ray hop off, the man outside waiting for him to get done so they can do what they doing. He's sitting there in a corner somewhere waiting. He said, toss me my hair. I said, you fucking serious? Yeah, Dion, you might be getting knocked out, Dion. I don't know. Maybe he a silent killer, but
That dude look a little bad though. That was funny as shit though. That was funny as hell, man. But this the Tank shit, I mean, yo, Roach just like his style kind of like a watered down version of Tank. You get what I'm saying? Kind of like, I'm not saying he a carbon copy, like, fight like Tank, but their styles kind of similar as far as their punching style. Like, but like last caller was saying, he don't got good footwork. It's like he got two left feet. Kind of like when you look at it, he got decent footwork, but it's like he a little slow and he don't got good anticipation, it looked like. You get what I'm saying? Like when I saw him fight Hector, that was a good fight, but it still looked like his anticipation ain't quite there. You get what I'm saying? Like he a little hesitant. I don't think the fight gonna go long. This fight shouldn't go all 12. I'd be surprised if it go all 12.
How many
If this fight go
rounds? How
all
many
12,
rounds?
man, he should get Lamont Roach out of there in by like 6-7 rounds. I don't think he should last as long as Frank Martin did.
He said 8, didn't he? Isn't his
I don't think
prediction
that.
8?
I don't know. They had like a press conference today or something.
Yeah, they had a media workout
I
today.
don't know.
Yeah, it was 8, Ness.
Oh, media workout. I gotta check it out. But yeah, though, man, shout out to the panel, yo, whoever it is on there. I don't know your name, but
Johnny from the
yeah,
hangout
Troy, man, you
spot.
got your man out here looking bad. Oh, Johnny, what it is, Johnny? Yeah, Troy, you got your man looking bad, yo. You gotta get him on the mic next time, man.
Yo, I think that shit threw you off, right, Ness?
What?
You were thinking that you were gonna talk to the guy, and then all of a sudden Troy is translating.
Yeah, man.
I saw your face. You were like, "What the hell?" Like, just pass the headphones, man. Give him the mic. But what's going on, man? What's going on, Champ? What's going on, community?
Nothing, man. We got 10 minutes to the interview. Let me actually pull up the people's questions. Remember, first come, first serve. You should have dropped your question when I first put this out, because now you at the back of the line. But that's okay. You still got an opportunity to drop your question as long as Gustavo Oliveri has enough time. We will get to all your questions, but it is first come, first serve. He is the WBO president. He just was appointed that position,
new, right?
Yes, he just was.
Yeah.
He just appointed that position not too long ago. I think back in November, he took over for Paco Vargasel, and yeah, man, we're gonna have him on the show. I think this is my first time interviewing him, honestly. And
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, I should send a message to Fundura, who yesterday was available, bro, and I didn't even notice.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you. You cranking them out. Yesterday you had Belanga on, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, so I don't.
That is what's up.
I don't have.
So what's going on, man? What's the topic? What's going on with Tank?
Tank.
Like
with
3
Tank.
a year?
Say again?
I said, can you hear me?
Yes, he's saying he wants to fight 3 times a year, and this year. So we're talking February. March 1st. Obviously, he can do June like he did with Barrios and I think Frank. So he could do June, July, August. Then he can do October, November, December for that third fight. So yeah.
I think that's great, man. I mean, Tank's an exciting fighter.
Of course, bro. Anytime we could get the faces of boxing in the ring, 3 times a year, it's always going to be good for the sport because it's eyeballs on the sport on a consistent basis.
Yo, absolutely, man. He's must see TV. But again, if he's going to fight some of these guys that none of us want to see him fight, then we're back in the same boat. If he's going to tell me that one of those 3 fights is going to be against Shakur, Tio, or Dev, then I'd be more excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see him challenge himself against the best that the division has to offer right now. And the fight that most people want to see is against him and Shakur. I heard about this this whole Inoue. What did Barry Hunter said that if they had their pick, they would like an Inoue fight, right?
Yeah, Barry would Inoue for sure. He said they could go up or down.
Listen, in theory, on paper, I think that would be an excellent fight, but in reality, I think it's more of a fantasy fight, just like Tank against Jake Paul. I mean, Inoue is just too small for Tank, man. I think he's too small, and we criticize Tank for fighting smaller guys in the lightweight division. This dude is at 122, man. Like, where would this fight take place?
130. I say 130. Tank could go down to 130. He weighed 133 his last fight. Also, maybe he could go down to 128. Catch weight 128 potentially, right?
But Inoue's a short guy, man. He doesn't have a really big frame, man. I mean, again, I just think he's too small. Right now, we're still waiting for Inoue to hit 126. I mean, to move up and fight Tank
Well,
right
I
now,
mean,
like
we
I
want
said,
Crawford
paper,
to do it. Crawford's a two-time undisputed. He's moving up two weight divisions. Why can't Inoue move up from 22 to 26 to 30, meet Tank at 30, or move up to 3 that Crawford was willing to move up? Crawford was willing to go up 3 to fight Canelo. Canelo just didn't say yes quick enough. So Crawford made a stop at 54, picked up a title. You know?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. It's just, I don't know. There's something about, like, I just think he's just a small, short dude. I don't know if his weight will carry. He's going to have some pop at 130 to fight Tank. Boxing ability, yeah. I mean, like I said, on paper, I think that's an excellent fight if they can make that happen. I just think right now, reality is it's more of a fantasy fight more than anything else. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Tank is not, he's no stranger to fighting smaller guys. And I'm not saying that to disrespect him. I mean, Saturday he's fighting a smaller guy, that's moving up in a weight, moving up a weight class. So I
Yeah,
just
I
hope that
mean,
Lamar
this is right
brings it,
up his
man.
alley. And,
Yeah, well, yeah.
it's like they said, the Shakur fight will still be there. Everything will still be there because Tank shouldn't lose to Inoue.
Yeah, but why wait for the Shakur fight when it's there? It can
Because
happen.
the Inoue fight is a bigger bag and an international bag, and it makes the Shakur fight bigger because now you got international fans. Tank's already fought in the UK. If he decides to take this one to Japan or do it here in Vegas, it's an international audience. Tone, what up? Welcome.
What's cracking?
What up, Tone?
What up, man? See you wearing that Diamondback colors, Johnny? That's the Arizona Diamondbacks in the building.
Arizona D-backs, bro. But listen, but the only people that are asking for that fight are the fans. Like, I don't think you've ever heard Inoue or Tank or anybody say that they would be interested in that. That's more of a fantasy fight more than anything else. Like, the fans are trying to put that fight, speak that fight into existence. I don't know, man.
I
I just think
mean,
it's just way small, man.
I
That's just
think
me.
I think I think Inoue did talk about it, saying that him and his promoter said like that's the pay-per-view they was targeting. They was targeting, Inoue coming to America and doing a pay-per-view.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Tone?
Tank versus Inoue, huge fight. Huge fight. Tank loves money.
Do you think it's realistic though?
Realistically, yes. I believe they've talked about this before. I think Tank telling Inoue good luck is a sign. They've been talking about this. They show each other immense respect. That's one of the few fighters that Tank publicly respects. And when somebody tried to troll Tank and say that Inoue said something wild, Tank didn't even jump out the window. He waited to get the verification before he went in. So he respects Inoue at a certain different type of level. And that's right down Al Heyman's alley, man. Al Heyman, outside of Canelo Alvarez telling him to keep David Benavidez far off that contract. Al Heyman has delivered big fights. That's what he does. Big Al Heyman.
For sure.
And you got to think, Inoue is Amazon Prime. Tank, Amazon Prime. What if the Amazon Prime executives like, yo, that's something we'll give y'all the Amazon cameras for? Something like that.
Something will open up the budget for it too, right?
Yeah. That's something we'll do.
I mean, it's an international squabble. That's what I'm saying.
Tank did say after this fight he will call somebody out. Does he call out Inoue?
All right, I got the president on. Let's go. Gustavo, good evening. How are you?
Can you hear me, brother? How are you guys? Good
I hear
evening.
you fine. We're great. Thank you.
There's an echo. There's an echo though, Ness.
Really? Can you speak one more time, Gustavo?
Testing 1, 2, 3. The Boxing Boys, the best podcast in boxing sports. Now I can't hear you. No. Can you hear me, guys? Please hold real quick. Can you hear me, guys?
No echo right now.
Can you speak now?
I can hear you now. The Boxing Boys testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Do you have?
I do not.
I think that's can I send you another link, Gustavo?
Sure.
Jump on. I apologize. It's still the same live show. It'll just have a different look for you, but there should not be an echo for you on that new link. I do apologize. Thank you, and I'll send it in a second. So, all right, here we go. Let's send him this other link. I don't understand that. I got to get that checked out, bro. I'm so aggravated with that. But that is the WBO president. Somebody, look, they said good now, but then it says you were fine. I don't understand. That was wild. That was wild. See, they said it was good. I don't understand.
Not in the beginning. It
And
wasn't.
on X, they said there was no echo. I don't know. Hopefully,
I heard an echo.
You heard it, right?
Yeah, I heard the echo for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
bear with us as we are going to get him. Dominic said, damn, first impression was bad. I know, champ. What can you do? You know, bear with me. We trying. I don't really understand that, bro. Like, look, today we interviewed whoever it didn't have an issue. It's so random. Yesterday with Berlanga, it didn't have an issue. Mind you, I knew I was gonna get Berlanga, so I had Alex jump on and run a test. I don't know. Let me see if I can send it to Alex again. Maybe it was a headphones thing. That's always a good one.
Yeah, it might have been.
Let's see. They said Discord had the echo as well. Well, we can take some callers, I guess. In the meantime, I see some super chats, so I will get to that. Hopefully, the president of the WBO can. Oh, he joined us. Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So
how are you guys?
We're good, and I do apologize for
Very
the the audio issues, but everything should be good now. This is actually my first time interviewing you, man. I've always interviewed Paco, and now you've taken over that position. And we wanted to get you on, obviously, and just touch bases with you, man. So
Sure, man. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
thank you for coming on and being accessible. I love that you're also active on Twitter. Can we start with your age? How old are you?
I'm a young guy with age. I'm 41, man.
Okay. No, and I guess that's why you are active on social media, and I love that you respond to things. You don't let people assume. You're actively out there. Dare I say, defending the WBO in certain situations. What made you want to take that role of being so active on the social media versus waiting for your conventions like most sanctioning bodies?
Well, I think that there's a lot of speculation and misleading information on social media, particularly as to how the sanctioning bodies operate, the way they render their rulings, what happens behind the scenes. So my approach is striving to do the opposite, have full transparency as to the way we operate, the way we make our decisions, educate the fans, inform the fans, because as you know, people scroll on social media in a matter of seconds. Not many people take the time to read carefully, and I think it is important to clarify the points or any inquiries that the fans may have. Not only the fans, the boxing media as yourself, the fighters, managers, promoters, and all the other stakeholders related to the industry. I think it is important, regardless if you agree or disagree with our decisions. Rest assured that I will, on behalf of the WBO, try to clarify and set all the cards on the table so you guys can have an informative decision on as to how we operate. I think that's the way I see things.
If no one's gonna jump in, I'll say the first thing I was excited about and like, okay, I can back this president was the Earl Spence ruling. He never fought for a WBO outside of the unification with Crawford. He never campaigned at 54. So I felt like it was unfair that he was going to get a unification shot. What was ultimately the committee's ruling and reasoning behind not approving Spence?
Well, what I did was I recommended to the committee on not approving TGB Promotions' request to install Errol in the 150 in the 154 division to fight for the unified championship immediately coming off a almost 2-year layoff, suffering a defeat by TKO by Crawford, had never fought at 154, was not rated. So my rationale was that if I would allow that from happening, it would set a bad precedent, and I would be opening the doors for future petitions on behalf of other fighters. So I think it was the correct call. I think we got a lot of positive feedback in that regard, and either we enforce the rules consistently and accordingly, or we don't have no rules, and it's madness, anarchy. I think it was the right call, regardless of Errol Spence, which I consider him one of the best welterweights of his era, unified champion. His only defeat was against boxing's pound-for-pound king in Terence Crawford. But there has to be some sensibility and common sense in the rulings as to the sanctioning bodies. Either we do things correctly, or we're gonna become either obsolete or have no credibility.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I'll jump in there. Gustavo, nice to meet you.
How are you, Johnny?
Good. So we live in a day and age now that where champions most of the time aren't really interested in fighting mandatories, right? They're more interested in going for bigger money fights. However, as a sanctioning body, it's your job to make sure that the champions are fighting who they need to fight. So what type of frustration how frustrating is it to deal with the fighter that doesn't want to fight a mandatory that you sanction? Meanwhile, he wants to fight somebody else. Like how frustrating is that? And how do you intend on tackling that in the future? Because you're going to face that.
That is a great question.
And Gustavo, can I just add, can the punishment be they get dropped from the rankings? Because it seems like these guys are at the number one position waiting for a certain champion. I can give you a few situations, specifically WBO with Virgil Ortiz and Terence Crawford. They just decided not to take that opportunity that was given to them. I feel like they should be dropped out the top 10. If you don't want a title shot, which is the WBO's greatest gift to you, maybe you should start at the back of the line. But great question, Johnny. Sorry to interrupt.
Great question, Johnny. I agree as well. So that question has multiple answers. The first response to your questions would be, there's a limit of what a sanctioning body can do to force a fighter in facing another fighter. We can force a mandatory, but we cannot oblige a fighter to enter the ring and fight a particular opponent. Like, for example, a champion has to do a mandatory within an X amount of days as set forth per our rules. Ordinarily, 9 months, with the exception of the heavyweight divisions, or 6 months, depending on the condition provided by the committee when we sanction the fight. For example, we had that scenario with Janovic, the middleweight. He has had problems on finding a suitable mandatory. We gave a chance to Hamza Sheraz. He was number 1 rated at 160. We ordered the fight negotiations, and Sheraz rejected the opportunity. So what did the committee did? I recommended to the committee, he complied with the rules. He was designated mandatory. You don't want to fight, you're out. And we exclude him from the ratings. So we took affirmative action. And I think, and I agree with you guys, if a mandatory challenger has been designated, has been granted the opportunity to fight the champion, and he rejects the opportunity, we can do 2 things. Either demote him on the ratings or exclude him from the ratings. So those are the responses that I can give at this time. It's very frustrating on behalf of the sanctioning body as to give an opportunity and a fighter rejects the opportunity. We had another scenario recently with Teofimo's mandatory. We had Arnold Barbosa rated at number 1 and Canelo rated at number 2. So we also have to consider that the sport is intimately related to the business aspect. So at the same time, we have to take into consideration that we don't want to force an unworthy mandatory to the champion, because Teo is the man at 140, right? So what we did with Canelo and Barbosa, we said, well, these 2 guys may have convincing arguments to be designated for the mandatory, right? One is number 2. One is, Barbosa is number 1. The other is number 2. You may have arguments on both sides of the fence as to who should be deserving of the mandatory. So what we did was, I recommended to the committee, I think this fight should be sanctioned as a final eliminator for the mandatory. And we would provide each fighter a ultimate opportunity to showcase their skills, get bigger exposure, and then have a more convincing argument as to forcing Teofimo to fight the winner, which is Barbosa, instead of just ordering a mandatory just for the sake of it. If we would do that, we would not only do a disservice to the champion, also to the promoter, to the network, because we have to consider all those particular circumstances: the champion, the network, the promoter, the challenger, and try to find a reasonable outcome for all the stakeholders. That's my opinion.
I love.
Hello, Gustavo.
Go ahead, Tone. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Tone. I'm sorry.
Two-Tone, the superstar here. I'm on boxing scene. How you doing, brother? I'm on boxing scene. And I'm looking at 175 pounds at the WBO. Yep. I do not see David the Mexican Monster Benavidez in the rankings. I wanted to know, why is that? Because I want to be educated on that.
Sure.
And it looks like in all the other sanctioning bodies, David's the regular champion for WBA, interim champion for WBC, but he's nothing in the WBO. Would that make him the mandatory for Bivol, or educate me on
okay, that? Let's go boxing 101. When a fighter wins a title from one of the 4 recognized sanctioning bodies, that'll be the BA, the BC, or the IBF. They cannot be, we don't rate them in our ratings because they are already champions. So per my rules, as well as my fellow colleagues, IBF, WB, and WBC, I cannot force a champion I cannot force my champion to face the champion from another recognized sanctioning body, because I don't have jurisdiction, which is a legal term, which means I don't have the authority per my rules to force my champion to face another champion. When you see unifications, those unifications take place because the parties voluntarily agree per a bout agreement, a contractual agreement per their respective promoters, or what is called a POS, a provision of services agreement, whereby a promoter provides the services of his fighter to another promotional entity. Benavidez is the interim champion of the WBC. So he's not available within our ratings to be installed. On the flip side, if Benavidez would like to fight Callum Smith, which is my interim champion, I would have no objection in that regard. But the parties, in other words, the fighters through their promoters, would need to agree voluntarily to make that fight. I cannot force them legally. I don't have that power. Neither does the BA, nor the BC, nor the IBF. When you see unifications, those are agreements voluntarily between the parties.
Okay, nice.
Gustavo, it sounds like we're headed down a world or a galaxy where interim titles are going to be unified and undisputed. Currently, Benavidez sits as a current unified interim title list. He has a interim WBC, a regular WBA. Now you're saying you're willing to do the Callum Smith fight, which means he'll have to pay you sanctioning fees and receive the belt, ultimately making him a 3-belt unified interim champion. How is that like?
But let me explain. That's a good question, but there's a distinction. I believe that Benavidez, he won a legitimate interim championship that the WBC sanctioned. We did an interim in light heavyweight due to Beterbiev being injured. I think he suffered a jaw injury or a dental condition that he was impaired, and the rematch was rescheduled originally. So we had justified reasons to do an interim championship to allow the division to keep active and give opportunities to the other contenders. And we sanctioned Boazzi against Hutchinson for the interim championships. What you saw on last Saturday, that you had an interim championship in the light heavy and also the full champion, the light heavy, as the main event, that was pure coincidence that you saw two champions in the same category fighting on the same show, which I object totally. But that was pure coincidence that they fought on the same card the same night. The BC, they have their legitimate interim light heavyweight champion. I believe Morel was the WBA regular light heavyweight championship. So we don't do unifications between regular champions or franchise or silver or diamond. No. We only allow unifications between legitimate champions, which means the full champion, or if an interim champion wants to fight another interim champion that is legitimately recognized, I cannot prevent it. You get me? But
absolutely
subject to very specific conditions. For example, when we have an interim championship, we always set forth some conditions to terminate that interim status the fastest way possible. However, you also have to consider, for example, now Bivol won the light heavyweight, right? Undisputed. And they're going to do the trilogy, most likely. What would the fans, the general public, the industry would like to see? Beterbiev Bivol the trilogy, or they would like to see Bivol fighting a mandatory?
I think we want Benavidez Bivol, but yes, we would not want to see Bivol have to fight Michael Everett.
Well, that's another scenario, right? Of a sanctioning body's ruling as to their mandatory designation system, which I respect, and I'm not here to criticize a brother colleague. Everyone has their own rules and the way they operate. I can speak on behalf of the WBO, but I'm sure, guys, 9 out of 10 people would say I would prefer the trilogy because it serves the best interests of boxing as a whole. After those two unbelievable matches between Beterbiev and Bivol.
Gustavo, I got another question.
Sure.
What do you say to the fans that say there's way too many belts in boxing? Like, for example, why is there an interim belt? Why is there a silver belt? Why is this, you mentioned another belt. Why is that? Why is it not just one championship belt?
John, I agree 100%. There are too many belts. I personally think I'm going to try to reduce at least. We have a title called a regional belt called the WBO Global. That doesn't even make sense, right? Because the world is a globe and the globe is a world, and it's very confusing. That title was approved by the committee, I think in 2017, and democracy wins. It was a majority vote of the members approving that name, which I had objections from the outset, but I was the legal counsel for the BO. I try to make my moves to change the name. Under my presidency, I'm going to try either to change the name because it doesn't make sense, or reduce at least one of the regional titles, because I couldn't agree with you more. There are too many titles, they're confusing, and it doesn't help the industry. Now, on the flip side, theoretically, having just one belt is the ideal scenario, like the NBA, one championship, like the NFL, the Super Bowl, like the major leagues, or the World Series. But you should also consider supply and demand. These fighters like Crawford, Canelo, Usyk, Fury, Joshua, in a way, the big players, they may be fighting twice a year max, right? And if you have only one champion, one title, what about the other? We're talking about 17 weight classes. At least we rank 15 fighters per weight class on the male side, which means 255 fighters, right? So you got multiple fighters per weight class trying to get an opportunity, and you have only one champion fighting maybe twice a year. What about the opportunities to the other fighters? I think the question is, there has to be a limit as to the amount of titles, right? I'm against the regular titles, the other titles, the doing entrance just for the sake of it, right? I couldn't agree with you more. And there are some titles that simply don't make sense. But there are also some minor titles that most of the fighters do not reach that level of elite, right? So maybe those second tier fighters that accomplish winning a regional title, that may be their highest accomplishment to their careers. Winning a international title, a Latino title, a North American title. Most of them. Not everyone gets to the world championship level. Maybe one fighter wins a world title and maybe makes one defense, two. If you see 3, 4, 5 title defenses, that is the exception of the norm. So I agree that there are too many belts. I also agree that we should reduce the amount of belts, but at the same time, I have my reservations as to whether one belt could suffice, considering supply and demand.
I needed to hear that. See, that I needed to hear.
Let me get to the people's question, and Gustavo, whenever you know your time is up, let us know.
First, my man, I got all the. I set the knife for you, my man.
Oh man, appreciate it. I got Starks from London. This is not a question, just all love. He says, I always appreciated the WBO when I was younger. Some of my favorite fighters held that belt: Nazim Hamed, Kawasaki, Thompson, Ben, and Eubank. So again, no question, all love. Next one is from Ese Moro in Pennsylvania. Says, as the president of the WBO, what's one of the biggest challenges you faced and one thing you enjoy as president? Thanks for coming on the show.
One of the most challenging things that I've have to deal with is saying no to the friends. In this business, you make a lot of friends, and saying no to your friends has been one of the most difficult challenges, because I can have an extraordinary relationship with promoter X, and then he calls, hey, my friend, how you doing? What's up? Hey, I need this favor. Can you help me with this? And I have to say, you're my friend, my man. I love you, but I got to follow the rules. That's been one of the most challenging things to date, saying no to my friends. And one of the most passionate or joyful things that I like about my business, the charity stuff, helping, doing the gyms for the kids, providing equipment, helping amateur boxers. We're currently doing a partnership with Jake Paul that we're renovating gyms in Puerto Rico and also in the States. That's one of the most, I think that's one of the most happy, joyful things that I do as a president.
I have Rue in the 504 in New Orleans. He says, objectively, what's what improvements could the WBO make as a sanctioning body?
Well, we have to do more for the fighters. We can't simply do a regional title, then put the fighter in the ratings, then the fighter makes 2 or 3 consecutive defenses of the regional title, fights a rated opponent, gets designated a mandatory, wins the belt, we give him the belt. Maybe we'll help him with a gym, or he does 5 consecutive defenses and we give him a special ring. That's cool. But we need to do more for the fighters directly. There's legitimate concerns as to, what do the sanctioning bodies do with the sanctioning fees? And I agree as to questioning what do we do with the fees. Well, and I can say, well, we cover some operational expenses. We use the monies for nonprofit purposes, charity, help out gyms, some boxers with financial burden or medical conditions. But we need to incentivize boxers. And how can we do that? For example, I'm trying to develop some pilot programs starting in Puerto Rico and extending it to the United States and thereafter internationally. Like, for example, if we have a fighter that he wins the WBO championship, right? And let's say he makes 5 consecutive title defenses and he has paid in sanctioning fees, let's say $40K, right? So we tell the champion, hey champ, have you bought a first property? No, I have not. Okay. Those $40K that you have paid, we're gonna give it back to you, but we're gonna pay you for the closing fees of your first property. Or we're gonna give you those 40K for the deposit of your first property. That could be an alternative. A second alternative could be using those 40K for an investment fund or an investment account, a 401K, IRA account. Hey champ, we're gonna put this money here for a couple of years. They generate interest, and thereafter you decide how to disperse or pull out withdraw the money. Another way could be giving those monies to a charity foundation that the champion wants. Autism, cancer, I don't know. That could be. These are concepts that we're brainstorming, right? Another thing that I'm planning to do is a financial literacy program for the fighters. What is a savings account? What is a checkings account? What is a boxers are they render professional services. They have to pay their Social Security. What is a 1040 form? For tax purposes. What is an investment account? At least in basic terms, so we can provide the fighters at least some guidance as to how they should use their monies properly. So we could be here all night trying to brainstorm different initiatives that the WBO can do, but that is the course that I'm heading towards to incentivize the fighters directly, whereby the fighters would say, "Wow, the WBO is offering me those opportunities. If I become a world champion, I'm gonna go with the WBO."
No, I love that. Whenever you bring that concept to fruition and you're actually giving the 40K back for the down payments and the closing costs, let me know so we can help publicize that. That is a phenomenal idea.
Another thing I forgot to mention. Other second-tier level fighters that don't reach that pinnacle of becoming big household names, there are many of them that don't have promotional outlets, right? So they don't have the proper resources to get themselves exposed to these like re-op season shows, right? So also the WBO will, for the first time in our convention, we're going to provide these second-tier level fighters and also the big level fighters, if they want to, as well as these second-level promoters, how to use the social media platforms properly to their advantage to raise their profile and marketability, because fighters are their own brand. So we're going to provide them through the WBO those opportunities as well.
Gustavo, I want to ask if I have plenty of questions from the people, but I need to know
Yeah,
the
man.
origin story, right? Like, how long have you been with the WBO? What position did you start at? I know that you were an attorney, but what position did you start at? And did you know Ed Levine? Because I interviewed him. He's the president of the IBO, and he
Yeah.
claims that he helped start the WBO. I may be messing up the story, but he claims he was with the WBO first, and then he started the IBO.
I know Mr. Levine. He's a gentleman. I saw him recently in Riyadh, and I have a very good relationship with him and the personnel from the IBO. Nothing to the opposite. He's a true gentleman and a very classy guy. And if he's watching this program, my regards to Mr. Levine. Yes, he was
So you
part of
worked
the he
together
was
though? Did you work together?
no. What he told you that he was part of the WBO when it started, that is true. He used to be a judge with the WBO. I believe he also served as the supervisor, and he occupied a position within the executive committee when the WBO was originally formed, if I recall correctly. I started in the WBO almost 10 years ago. I started as an intern. I was already a licensed attorney practitioner, trial lawyer. I was finishing graduate studies at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. And my academic advisor at the time, I had to do an internship with a sports entity or a law firm related with sports. And there were no positions or entities related with boxing at the time. They had Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, the NFL, and the internship positions on those sports institutions were more related with ticket selling, social outreach, etc. There were no legal positions. And I wanted to do something related with law because I was already a licensed attorney, practitioner, and I wanted to combine the theoretical things from school with the practical side as an attorney. So I proposed to my academic advisor whether boxing could be an opportunity. He said, "Well, yeah, prepare a proposal. We will review it and we will let you know." And I started calling lots of people, man. I called Top Rank. I called Golden Boy, TGB Promotions. I believe I also called DeBella Entertainment. I called the Puerto Rican Boxing Commission. I think the only promotional outlet that answered me was Top Rank, and they said, "Hey, kid, there are no internships here. Don't call here. See you later." And the Puerto Rican Boxing Commission, I think they requested my CV, my curriculum vitae. I submitted it, no response, and then I saw the WBO on on a website, on a boxing page. I think it was Boxing Scene or something. And the BO is based in Puerto Rico, and its main offices are in Puerto Rico. I'm a Puerto Rican guy. I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico. So I said, this could be an opportunity. So I called. They asked me for my information. I follow up, and I think I was sending emails and calling for like 3 months. Hey, I'm a licensed attorney, but I'm also a graduate student. I want to do an internship. I'm interested. And they gave me an interview. I think it was, they called me like on a Monday to tell me, hey, can you come on a Tuesday? And I said, yeah. So I suit up. I travel like almost 3 hours from my hometown. I was in Puerto Rico at that time, and I had an interview with Paco. And the interview was very informal. He asked me maybe 3 or 4 questions unrelated with boxing, and he didn't give me a response. He asked me how much money I needed. I said, no, this is an internship. I cannot accept any monies because I'm prohibited from doing so. I just want an opportunity. And he said, well, I got other things to consider. I'll let you know. And I said, thank you. Thereafter, I follow up, calls, emails. And the lady at the time that was the liaison, which she's still in the office, she said, hey, kid, I don't know what to tell you. He's always traveling. He's not here. Call him at his cell phone. I gave him a call. He answered the phone. He said, I'm in a meeting. Call me back. I did call back. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. He did call back. And he said, how much I have to pay you, kid? No, I just want the opportunity. When can you start? I can start tomorrow. Come on Monday. I had to do 80 hours a month. I tripled the hours from Monday to Friday, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I did everything, man. I work with boxes. I answer the phone. I answer emails. I picked up people at the airport. I took them to hotels. I paid for lunches. I put banners. I organized conventions. I worked with T-shirts. I started, and I was already a licensed attorney, but I had no ego. I come from a working class family. I said, you know what? Maybe Paco's testing me, right? But my attitude was every opportunity I get to meet someone, I would try to learn, ask a question about the industry. What are you? What is your purpose of your visit? What are you doing? What's going on with this situation? So I was like a sponge, absorbing information and networking. And then as time went by, Paco started delegating more responsibilities and obligations. And then he appointed me as the in-house legal counselor. And then I started working with legal documents, resolutions, purse bids, mandatories. I started also working with the rating system, going through the divisions. Then Paco started taking me traveling with him, meeting people, business meetings, then with meetings with the presidents of the organizations. And I was there with my mouth shut, but open ears. And after a meeting, I would consult with Paco. What happened here? What's this? What's the agreement? What's going to happen? And then more responsibilities. Paco would say, Gustavo, talk to Eddie Hearn, talk to Tom Brown, talk to Carl Moretti, call Georgie Warren, call Tutico Zavala, and Dimitri Salita. And that went on crescendo and crescendo and crescendo until I would say the last 2 years or so, I was running the WBO internally on a day-to-day basis, always in consultation with Paco, and he would make the big decisions, and he would have the final decision making in all the process.
So when did you start getting paid, and when did you have ambitions of being the president, or was that something that he just wanted for you, or was that the committee that voted you in?
No. What we did was, when I started as an intern and eventually I came on board of the WBO, I still had my legal practice. So I told Paco, I'll take the same salary you're offering me to be your in-house legal counselor, right? And I'll reduce my practice so I can learn more quicker about the business and travel with him, right? He said, okay, no problem. So my main goal was to learn as much as possible, the quickest, and eventually become an advisor for boxers, or a promotional outlet, or work with a network or a TV company. I was not expecting, nor I had aspirations as to becoming the WBO president. This was very organic. And I would say the last year, before Paco decided to step down, many people from the BO were telling me, you're the next guy, you're doing a great job. And I was like, thank you, but I'm not interested, because I didn't want to have expectations and then hit rock bottom. Because remember, Paco was the president of the BO for almost 30 years. So it's not easy for a man of his stature to take a step back and recognize and say, you know what? I think 30 years is enough. I'm going to step down and give a chance to the new blood and try to, pass the baton for the new generation. And, he never told me directly until maybe 2 months before the convention. He sat me down and he said, Gustavo, I made a decision. I'm going to take a step back. I've consulted this with the members, and they support you. They've seen you grow in the BO. You know how the operation works. You've been there. They've seen you conduct yourself, the way you operate, the way you maneuver yourself, the way you handle yourself with everyone in the business. I'm going to support you for your candidacy as president for the BO and also the committee. So when I was humbled, right, and shocked, and I said, well, if these are God's plans, man, and Paco wants to give me the support and the blessing, what can you do, man? It's a life-changing opportunity. Either I get on board on the train or it passes and never comes back. So I say, so let's take it. And when the convention came and the elections proceedings commenced, I was voted the president unanimously, man.
Now, you think you were voted unanimously because he gave you the blessing? Because it's just like, it sounds such a perfect story. How was there no internal hatred from someone, maybe a son of Paco, who thought he was going to be president? Maybe
No,
someone else
because
in the company had those ambitions. Just asking.
no. That's a legitimate question. First of all, Paco doesn't involve his family whatsoever with the business. You won't see Paco in any photo or video. You can check on Google, YouTube, or social media with any family member whatsoever. He thinks the total opposite. He's against nepotism. That's his philosophy, right? So, and let me tell you, the elections at the WBO, the election process is open. Anybody can, and we make the announcement on our official website. Anybody can submit their petition and run for candidacy. It's an open election. Certainly, his support is a solid foundation. I cannot, I got to be objective in that regard. Certainly, his support was solidify my candidacy, but he has that right. Either he supports me or he doesn't support me. And if anybody would want to run at that time, they could do so. But certainly his support gave me a boost of my candidacy. But the other members of the executive committee, they were also on board because they had seen my development for the past almost 10 years.
No, absolutely, man. It sounds like a life-changing opportunity for you and your family. Congratulations. Before I get back to the people's question, I do have another one in the chamber. Being, an intern, then going through being the in-house attorney, ultimately being the president, tell me that you've heard the phrase WBO stands for what Bob orders. And
absolutely, man. Every
and
time.
what is your plans on trying to abolish that mindset for the fans, if any? Like, do you not care? Because fans are fans. They're always going to think something.
That's been a legitimate question and concern by the fans or the media. And I gotta be very truthful to you, man. I would have the same concerns as well if I was on the other side. But what I tell the fans is, you know what? Come to the WBO office. We'll open the doors. We'll give you water and coffee. We'll open the files, and you see all the paperwork in black and white. We have a long-standing relationship with Bob Arum, and that doesn't mean that we're going to do what Arum tells me to do. I'm not a puppet. If I have to say no to Arum or Carl Moretti or Jeremy Cole, their attorney, I will say, you know what? We have a long-standing, excellent relationship, but I can't disregard the rules. And we did that recently for Janibek. When Shiraz was out, they asked for a mandatory Shane Mosley Jr. I said no. Through Janibek's manager, Egis Klimas, I said, Egis, I love you. I love the support of Usyk, Janibek, Lomachenko. All your fighters have fought for the WBO, but I cannot. The guy, Shane Mosley Jr., unfortunately, does not qualify to be the mandatory at this time. So I said no. And if you have, and I'll tell you, you guys have sponsors in your shows, right?
Yes.
Sponsors.
Yes.
If you guys have successful, honest business relationship with your partners, why would you change that formula? If it's honest, if it's transparent, and if it is successful, right? I tell the fans, you would say, well, what Bob orders, that's bullshit, man. We have a long-standing relationship with them, honorable relationship, professional and transparent. Come to the BO. We'll open our offices. We'll show you the files. We post everything on social media. in our official website. You started saying that I'm very active on Twitter as to the way we operate, and that's the way it has to be, to give the fans the truth and full transparency as to how we operate. I want to be the outlier sanctioning body in the business.
Can you give us, I guess, the short version of what happened with Albert Bell? Because obviously we seen, you know, we seen Valdez get another title opportunity when it should have been, or at least we thought it should be Albert Bell. Did he do something internally to get jumped over?
Thanks for the question, because
that's a good question. That's because I've interviewed Albert Bell.
And I like Albert and his team. Albert is a nice young man. He came to the WBO. He was very supportive of the WBO, wanting to fight for the WBO. But man, you have to comply with the rules. You need to face rated opposition. Check his record. He hasn't fought a rated contender since he was installed in the ratings. And you would say, well, why Valdez got a title shot? You can't compare the records of Bell and Valdez. Regardless if Valdez was coming off a defeat, thereafter he defeated Liam Wilson, who fought for the title and had defeated rated opposition. Albert Bell, the reason he never fought for the title was that he had never fought rated opposition. If you check our rules, I believe it's section 8 of our World Championship rules and the ABC ratings criteria, you need to face rated opposition within a specific period of time since your installment in the ratings and defend your ratings position, right? Unfortunately, he got to number 1 by default. Sometimes you can get a fighter, let's say a fighter's rated number 4, right? And number 1 wins, let's say for a scenario, so the fans can understand. Albert is currently occupies the number 4 spot, right? Number 1 suddenly wins a world title, he's out. Then Albert moves by default 2-1, 3-2, and 4-3, right? And then number 1 and 2 fight for an eliminator, or number 1 loses and number 3 gets injured and is demoted, and then Albert Bell moves automatically to number 1. And you would say, well, he's been number 1 for 6 months. Yeah, so has he fought a rated contender? The answer is no. If he doesn't comply with the rules, I can't give him a shot. The same happened to Archie Sharp.
What about the counter that the Bell team would say that they can't get those, like they can't get a Valdez to say yes? They couldn't even get Archie Sharp to say yes, according to them.
Nelson, that may be true, but I don't. Those are the circumstances, unfortunately, of Albert Bell. If nobody wants to fight him, I can't order a rated contender to fight another rated contender unless it's for an elimination bout, right? And ordinarily, the WBO does not do elimination bouts like the IBF, which operates number 1, number 2 for the eliminations, right? The WBO does not operate that way, because if we would do an elimination bout, the winner would then be entitled to a property right. And then the winner could be waiting there 6 months, 8 months, 1 year for the mandatory. And that would freeze the division. So I rather, instead of doing an elimination bout, unless it is warranted, because we have to consider each scenario, the weight division, if there's a vacancy, if there are no big profile names in the division, and you want to do like a box tournament between 1 and 4, 2 and 3, or 2 and 3 and 1 and 4, depends. We have to consider each case on a case-by-case scenario. Unfortunately, with Albert Bell, he's had bad luck on finding suitable opposition. If nobody wants to fight him, what can I do, my man?
No, we just wanted that clarity
with the rules, you know?
Yeah. No. We wanted that clarity, and thank you for answering that. Looks like we have Ali and Dago. Gustavo, who are your top 3 favorite fighters of all time?
Man, I would say Trinidad.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Trinidad. That was my first ever boxing experience or boxing event was Trinidad against Hassan Sharifi. His first comeback fight after losing to Hopkins in Puerto Rico. Oh man, electrifying atmosphere. Tito is like Maradona is to Argentina, Pelé to Brazil. You know, he's an icon. So I would say Trinidad. Trinidad number one. Another favorite fighter, Golovkin, man. I love Golovkin. I love Golovkin. And another fighter that I love. Man, there's so much. Man. Let me see. I got to say somebody, unactive because I got to be objective as the president. So let me see. One more. Man, favorite fighter. Trinidad, Golovkin.
Ivan Calderon. He's Puerto Rican.
No, tremendous fighter. Let me
Benitez.
see.
Wilfredo Benitez.
Fredo Benitez, El Radal. Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Wilfredo Gomez. Wilfredo Gomez. Bazooka Gomez. Those three, man. And Miguel Cotto, obviously. Miguel Cotto, man.
Yeah, shout out to Cotto.
There's so many. I like many of our champions, but remember, I got to be very prudent with my remarks. So I'd rather stay on the line,
For sure. I have Benitez Boxing that says, how can someone who is interested in the business get started working in a sanctioning body? Thank you.
That's a good question. I think there's no formula. There's no 2 + 2 4 to get involved in boxing. Boxing is more as to who you know, and somebody introduces you to somebody, and that somebody then refers you to another somebody, and that opens the door. In my case, I created my circumstances. I think it was a combination of pushing, hustling, and pure luck, man. I called, sent an email, follow up, and that was at least my circumstances. What I've seen as to other people coming to the business, either they enter through one particular position, maybe social media or logistics or fighter liaison, I don't know. And then they would, move up the ladder or change positions, and then they would work for a company. Thereafter, they would change to another. It depends, but there's no formula, man.
All right. I got Treese in Ohio that says, what are your thoughts on the
Sorry, I have a little cold.
No worries. Treese in Ohio says, what are your thoughts on the WBC's Grand Prix, and will you offer something similar?
I think it's a good idea. Everything that Turkey's doing, I think it's we have to be open minded. He's doing very unique concepts or projects. I love the Riyadh season. Their shows, it's unbelievable. The production, the settings, the art, the trailers, the comic concepts coming into play, making the big fights. Now the tournament with the BC. I wish Mauricio all the best. He's always striving to implement new ideas and changes. I may agree with some. I may disagree with others, but I have nothing but respect for Mauricio. He's also a colleague and a mentor as well, and supported my candidacy in conjunction with the other 3 presidents. And they went to Puerto Rico and supported me 100%. I've known them for quite some time now. I think it's a good idea. Every platform that provides an opportunity for new talent should be welcomed, man, because we all benefit directly or indirectly. There may be a fighter from WBC Grand Prix tournament that may not necessarily have an opportunity with the BC for a world title, but eventually can transition either to the IBF, WBA, WBO, and have a title shot. The same from our side. If I have a rated champion and the rated champion gets an opportunity to fight for another sanctioning body, would I be concerned or what would you say, disappointed? No, man. It's all for the fighters. I would say, champ, God bless you. You got to take it, So I wish them all the best. As to whether we will do a tournament, that could certainly be a possibility, or maybe do a unified tournament with all the sanctioning bodies involved. That remains to be seen. But I have a great relationship with Mauricio and the other colleagues, and we don't disregard that opportunity to be considered in the future.
Gustavo, you spoke of one belt, and obviously you just now said how the other presidents for the other sanctioning bodies, supported you and your presidency. We also seen Saturday night I guess a belt that was created with all the sanctioning bodies on it. So where I'm heading is, do you see a future where the sanctioning bodies can be splitting this sanctioning fees and there's only one belt to represent the four of you? Or because it's all separate literal businesses, is that just never going to work?
That's a great question. Remember, guys, every sanctioning body has their respective rules, norms, policies. The WBC is based in Puerto Rico. They are governed by other separate rules, although they are regulated also by American rules. Laws and regulations, because they operate in America as well. The BA has its own policies as well, rules. Everyone has their own way of doing things, right? I think we are more in a trend of trying to work together and trying to uniform or standardize some things, unifications, mandatories, weight categories, working with the female side, maybe trying to do a anti-doping protocol that is uniform for all the four sanctioning bodies. As to a single belt, what Mauricio did on the Undisputed, he created a special belt where he incorporated the logos of the four sanctioning bodies internationally recognized, for the better be a bivel. I have my reservations as to whether that is necessary or unnecessary. I respect what he does, and if he wants to promote that practice, I think he's done it in the past. I have no objections, because that's the way he operates, and I have to respect that. But I can certainly have my reservations. I think our titles, including the BC, the IBF, the WBA, the WBO, the IBO, every title has its own credibility, legitimacy, and respect. I think if you try to create another title, you could undermine the credibility of your own title. Certainly, you can make a special title for a special event, which is what Mauricio did, right? And I can respect that, because he wants to maybe showcase the title as a special distinction, right? And I could agree on that basis. I think, but it's a tricky situation. At least that's my perspective. And please don't misinterpret. I respect what he does, and that is his policy, and he incorporates us in the belt, which I'm thankful for. We would do the same thing if we would do that. As to WBO, if there's a special championship bout that deserves a special title, I would do it in a different way. At least that's my perspective.
All right. We got Octo with a friendly one that says, what's your favorite music artist, and give us one movie we should watch?
My favorite music artist. I'm a musician, so I love different types of music, but I like Dr. Dre, man, and Snoop.
Okay.
And obviously Tupac.
All right.
Yeah. But I like salsa. I'm a musician.
Are you a salsero? Can you dance salsa?
Not so much, but I can play timbales, conga, bongo, campana. I'm a huge salsa fan, and I play percussion instruments, and drums as well. I like a little bit of everything. Jazz, salsa, R&B, hip hop. rock and roll.
So I'm glad I'm not the only Puerto Rican that can dance salsa.
Oh, you're Puerto Rican?
I am Puerto Rican. My
Oh,
family.
my man, Boricua. Where are you from? De Puerto Rico? Where exactly?
Caguas. My family's from Caguas.
Agua. Okay, man. Okay, I'm from Mayagüez, the
Oh
southwest.
yeah, I'm familiar with that.
My man, I didn't know, my man. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Boricua en la casa.
Ya tú sabes.
Está
That's
bien.
cool,
I
man.
mean, I'm Dominican. I guess I'm on the outside here. You guys having that Puerto
You're
Rican
out of this
love.
conversation.
We're brothers. We're brothers, man. Dominicano and Puerto Riqueño, we're brothers, man.
Exacto. Oye, Gustavo, so there has been some rumors circulating that Turkey wanted to buy the sanctioning bodies via acquisition. Is that even possible because they're non-profit? Can you be bought if he wanted to?
No, that is not true. That is not true.
Okay.
Turkey has not. I've met with him a couple of times. He has never made an offer or made any assertions or comments or remarks of that nature. He wanted to do a sponsorship agreement, right? Whereby he would offer a compensation to the sanctioning bodies in exchange for promoting the Riyadh season. What the WBO did was we respectfully declined because remember, Turkey, he is a form of de facto promoter. I would say that we're based in the U.S., although we're based in Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. So we're governed by federal laws and state laws, and we are a nonprofit entity, and we should not receive any monies or compensations directly or indirectly on behalf of a promoter. Only those limited to the sanction fees, right, which the promoter deducts from the purses of the fighter, right? And we have to disclose those fees per the Ali Act disclosure provisions containing the act. So what we did to Turkey is to promote the Riyadh season and support you. We don't need any compensation or monies. To the opposite, we are financially sustainable. We are financially responsible. You can check all our paperwork and financials in the Federal Trade Commission website, which we report those documents on a yearly basis. Also with our rules, financial reports, salaries, etc. What we will do, Turkey, is accommodate your needs per our rules, right? To the extent my rules allow me to do so, to help you do those big fights. So we don't need any compensation or any other type of monies or gifts or any of that nature. We will help you without nothing in exchange, just for the best of boxing. But that is untrue about making offers to buying the sanctioning body. No, at least I've been there with him. No remarks whatsoever.
But to be clear, is it possible for a nonprofit to be bought? Can he buy you guys if he put the offer? Like, I mean, because again, you're non-for-profit. So I just want to make sure legally, is it something that he can do if he wanted to?
I believe no. I believe no.
All right. Moving on, and remember to tell me when you're, pressed for time here. I got.
Let me get give me 1 second to get a little bit of water.
No worries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the WBO president, Gustavo Oliveri. It is a first come, first served basis with your questions. Saint, I'm going to yours. I hope he knows what you're talking about. Don't make me read this long question and he doesn't know what you're talking about. All right, Gustavo. So the next one is coming from Saint I Am. He says, with boxing expanding globally, especially in places like Saudi Arabia, do you think tournaments such as the quote-unquote Kings of the Ring concept I spoke of could help grow the sport internationally while giving fans and fighters more clarity on who is the best in each division? I'm not sure if this gentleman maybe contacted you on this previous conversation, but he basically is making it seem like you guys spoke about a tournament, the King of the Ring concept that he's trying to put out.
No. I don't recall a tournament or concept called King of the Ring. But
what are your thoughts on tournaments?
If you check on BoxRec, there are boxing events on a weekly basis everywhere, man. So I think the question is, what would be the ideal scenario or platforms whereby fighters would showcase their skills before the world? And Riyadh season is right now the global destination for boxing, but it depends on the fighters and the dancing partners. You always need a dancing partner for that big fight to be showcased before everyone. Unfortunately, like Shakur was fighting Schofield. Schofield pulled out due to a medical situation. Came in Josh Padley, not a big name. Unfortunately, Shakur he looked great, but he still needs a dancing partner to have that definitive, definitively um, um, showcase. You know.
For sure. Next one is from Call Me MPO, G from Brooklyn. What's your thoughts on Crawford Canelo?
I love it, man. I saw Bud in Riyadh and I saw him in New York a couple of weeks ago. He looks strong as a bull, confident. You can't disregard Crawford, man. He's a special talent. And when he's challenged or people say, man, you don't have a chance, that's when he gets his fire. And Crawford is a unique talent. And remember, he used to be a wrestler. So physically, he's strong as a bull, can fight righty or southpaw, has a nice jab, smart, adapts through the rounds. You have to favor Canelo on paper, right? The bookies will favor Canelo without a question, but you can't disregard Crawford. Crawford is a generational talent, and when he's challenged, that's when he performs to the highest of his abilities. I can't predict an outcome. It will be irresponsible. I cannot take any sides. Canelo is, the top dog in the division, and the WBO will sanction that fight. And next week, probably, we'll have more news as to the conditions of that sanction, right? And people would say, well, Crawford jumping to weight classes. Should he be rated at 168 when he hasn't fought in 168? Well, you have Crawford, 4-division world champion, 35, 40, 47, 54, undefeated, unified, undisputed champion, 2 weight classes. The record of his opposition, the level of activity, considered boxing's pound for pound king. Would you rate him at 168?
I would not rate him at 168. I think he's
Well,
being selective.
That remains to be seen. That's a decision to be determined by the committee. But consider the other fighters in that weight division: Pacheco, Munguia, Surace, and Mbili. Will Crawford have a chance against them?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
And Billy, that's what I'm saying. And this is the problem that I have with this fight, Gustavo. I want to see those fights. Before Munguia got knocked out, I was campaigning last year for him to fight Munguia. Fight David Benavidez. I came this close. I was so happy the Turkey offered him the 64-pound catch weight, and Benavidez couldn't make it. But fight Berlanga. People like to say Berlanga's quote-unquote bum langa. But vamos a ver. Vamos a ver.
Who's fighting? Who?
No,
fighting Berlanga who?
I'm saying Crawford. He needs to show us he belongs at 68. Like, getting a shot at Canelo is wild. It's just wild. Right. It's just, and then the justification is, well, it's Canelo's body type. Because if you say, well, fight David. Well, David's too big. But you want to fight Canelo. Yeah, but it's his body type. He's really not that big. Except he was willing to go to 200 pounds to fight Makabu, according to Eddie Reynoso in the WBC convention. I mean, except he moved up and one punch knocked out Sergey the Crusher Kovalev. He lasted 12 with Bivol, Bivol's the only man in history, I don't know, again, as a lawyer and being in the WO, do you know anyone that beat 2 active, current, defending, undisputed champions? Crawford's never even defended. He's never defended an undisputed. Canelo's on his 3rd defense. Bivol obviously, Better Beef was defending. And, when Bivol beat Canelo, he was also defending. I just think it's different. I would love to see him fight anyone at 68 with a pulse. Anyone.
Remember Nelson,
Nestor.
Nestor, right? Nestor. Sorry,
No
Nestor,
worries.
my Dominican brother. Remember, we should analyze each case on a case by case basis, right? You have Turkey wants to do Canelo Crawford. Crawford wants to fight Canelo. Canelo wants to fight Crawford. Crawford has 37 years of age. He wants that challenge. He wants that big name. Canelo, on the opposite, wants that huge payday. There's some fans in some media like yourself that may have some reservations as to, oh, he should fight somebody first at 168. But again, those are dealings that the parties have voluntarily agreed to. There's so much that we can do, but at the same time, many fans want to see the fight. People want to see Benavidez Canelo instead of Crawford Canelo, right? But that has not happened. Benavidez was the WBC 168 mandatory. The question was, why wasn't the mandatory enforced?
Which is why I asked my first question.
You gotta ask Team Benavidez and his promoter Samson, why wasn't the mandatory at 168 forced?
Well, they chose to go up and wait. They believe
no. That's another thing, brother. Ask the question. Call his promoter and ask him, why didn't they enforce the mandatory 168?
The question I've always gotten is the answer I've always gotten is that Canelo does what he wants. You can't force Canelo to fight you.
No. But ask. That's untrue. Ask his team why, when he was 168, they didn't enforce the mandatory. That's homework for you, brother.
Well,
okay,
I was on the ratings meeting with Mauricio, and he did state that even if that they wouldn't give Canelo a date. Like they would, like if they enforce it, there wasn't a said date. So Benavidez would have just been in limbo.
Let me clarify that so you can get a perspective. When you force the mandatory, you order what is called a negotiation letter. You notify both parties, the champion and the challenger, dear teams, fighter A, fighter B. You have 30 days to start negotiating for the mandatory. If during those 30 days the parties are unable to reach an agreement, we will order purse bids, right, for the promotional rights of that particular contest, right? Let's say a promoter X wins the purse bid. That promoter has to conduct that fight within a particular amount of time. Per the BO is within 45 to 90 days after the purse bid is adjudicated to do the fight. If that mandatory or that fight does not take place, there are certain consequences, either against the champion or the promoter. It depends. But when you're the interim champion or the mandatory, you have to enforce your position, because the mere fact that a champion doesn't have a TV date or a fight date, that is not a sufficient reason to not enforce it, at least from the WBO. We've had champions, for example, let's say we have a champion that has not fought in a year. Oh, I don't have a promoter. I don't have a TV network. Well, I'm sorry, but there are other fighters waiting in line. You have to defend the title. If you can't defend the title, unfortunately, we have to strip you. We did that with Amanda Serrano when she was starting. Paco did that to Amanda Serrano. She had no promoter at the time. And we said, well, we have to follow the rules. You need to defend the title within an X amount of days. And the WBO stripped Amanda. You can ask his trainer, Yola Maldonado, and her manager. When she was starting, she didn't have a promotional outlet, and she needed to defend the belt. She didn't defend the belt. so she got stripped. So when you have a mandatory and you or an interim champion and you don't enforce the mandatory, that's on you, man.
Hey, man, I know you just made a lot of people upset because they love to say that Canelo avoided David and David was avoided, and I never understood it. I thought, him moving up was the issue.
No,
But
no, 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 no. I don't think so. I don't know the internal circumstances of the BC, but you have to ask his team as to why they didn't enforce the mandatory. Because if you're the interim champion and he's been fighting, Benavides is a hell of a fighter. I'm a fan of his. He's one of the best. And I would like to see Canelo and Benavides as well. And I know you guys as well. But if his team or his promoter doesn't enforce the mandatory, that's a question that you have to raise to his team as to why his mandatory, when he was the mandatory 168, was not enforced.
yeah, man, favoritism. I wanna say they didn't want to ruffle Canelo's feathers. Everybody knows that Canelo had a 3-fight deal with the PBC, and if Al tries to enforce the Mexican monster on Canelo, I think that there is not going to be a happy relationship. That's what everyone assumes, and all we can do is assume. But I do got more. If you still have time, I want to keep checking.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we got Chad in Canada. He says, does the WBO acknowledge an interim champion as the top mandatory challenger? And I think he's talking about the rotation, which you spoke of on Twitter, maybe? You spoke of the rotation for the mandatories for Bivol?
Okay. If we have an interim champion, that interim champion is the mandatory for the full champion. If there's no interim champion, the highest rated available contender in the ratings that qualifies with the rules for mandatory challenger designation and is designated as such will be the mandatory for the full champion.
All right. And the next one is from Mr. Benny Hinn. It says, what new rules will the WBO be implementing to elevate the sport?
That's a good question. The first thing I'm trying to do now is updating the rules and see which rules need to be either modified or changed to further enhance our organization and also adapt to the times. Because we either we adapt to the times and the new trends, or we become obsolete or irrelevant, or our rulings have no common sense. But we also have discretion and flexibility in our rules. That's why when we issue a ruling, you're always going to see. When we issue a ruling, you will always going to see that the WBO reserves its right to issue any further rulings that would serve the best interests of boxing.
All right, we got Talk Trends. He says, will you have high rehydration clauses like the IBF? Is that something you guys are, okay?
No, because we believe that the weight the weight limits, weight checks, the medical procedures, anti-doping protocols, all those what's the wording? All those what will be the wording? All those circumstances should be solely and exclusively governed by the local host commission. We don't have the expertise as to anti-doping procedures. We don't have the jurisdictions to regulate the weight proceedings or weigh-ins conducted by the local commission. I think those are issues that should be solely governed by the local commission that regulates the event itself and the fights.
Tip Bellis that says, why not allow Keith Thurman, who has fought at 54, unlike Earl Spence, against the former champion Carlos Quintana back in 2012, to contest against Tim Tszyu for the WBO title? I guess this is when you didn't allow it to happen.
When we had, we didn't sanction Thurman because he was inactive. And he hadn't fought in 154. Excuse me. And that's why we didn't sanction Tim Tszyu against Thurman.
All right. We got Drade that says, how you doing, President? Since Bud is moving up to fight Canelo at 68, will he retain his WBO interim status at 54?
You shall hear more about the. You should remains to be seen. Next week, we will officially report to that question.
Major Media says, does the WBO have any weight rules, clauses for their fights, or what are some rules specifically set for WBO championship bouts?
As it pertains to weight, our rules simply govern as to the prescribed weight. For example, if you're welterweight, the weight limit is 147. If you exceed that weight, you have 2 hours per our rules since the official weighing to comply with that weight, right? But that depends on the local commission. Some commissions may give you 1 hour. Other commissions may not give you time to make the prescribed weight. It depends on the jurisdictions where the fight is being contested and their own rules. Remember, the WBO has limited jurisdiction. Each commission, at least in America, and the Indian reservations and the territories are sovereign. And as sovereign jurisdictions, they have their own rules and regulations, and they enforce them accordingly. And the other question was, as to our rules, what was the other question?
What rules specifically are set for WBO championship bouts? And do you have any weight rules or clauses for title fights?
No. I answered the question as to the weight, as to rules for championship bouts. We have numerous rules. I could at least state a basic rule: when a champion wins a title, he normally has no more than 9 months to make it mandatory, except in the heavyweight division, that the committee may grant you a period no greater than 1 year to make the defense against mandatory.
Why is it different for the heavyweights?
Because the heavyweights, it's a particular division, and it has its own circumstances that the committee, when they adopted the rules, they provided a more broader term to make a defense against the mandatory. That's a good question. I haven't checked the history as to why the distinction. I'll make that homework.
Appreciate that.
All right.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Saint actually rewrote the question. He says, Saint from the community, hello, and thank you for sharing your time with us, Mr. Olivetti. We've seen great champions crowned through traditional title fights, but many fans and fighters believe boxing lacks structured tournament format to definitively establish the best in the division. I've developed the quote-unquote king of the ring concept, an international tournament designed to bring clarity by having top contenders compete in a structured format leading to an undisputed champion. Would the WBO ever consider sanctioning or recognizing a tournament-based structure like this to help determine mandatory challengers or create new pathways to title? I'd love to send more details. Where's the best place to reach you at? So I guess a DM?
Tell him there's an email, info as an information, infonews@wboboxing.com. He can send an email there or a proposal or any Q&A, any inquiries, and we'll gladly respond them. The WBO would support any tournament that would, be for the betterment of the boxers and the industry. That's not a problem. The question is whether the tournament structure, considering that this is a one-man sport, individual sport, this is not a team sport, and you have conflict of interest involved in the sport. Promoters representing specific fighters, promoters aligned with specific networks, competitors, which that creates a problem because everyone wants a little piece of the pie, and you have competition. This is not a monopoly or a league structure, only one umbrella. Theoretically, that would be the ideal scenario, but I don't think it's practical because all those particular circumstances that I've mentioned previously during the program. So, but if there's a tournament that we see benefits boxing, and the WBO believes that it would warrant support 100%. Like the World Boxing Super Series, that was a very cool concept. And the cruiserweights, bantamweights, and super middle, right? You also have to consider those weight divisions where there's not a big enough name, whereby those small promoters can get together and do a tournament. But when you have the heavyweights, lightweights, welterweights, divisions that you have top tier elite fighters, and they have their respective promotional outlets and networks, that's a little bit more challenging. Remember, now you're seeing the promoters working together in the Riyadh season, because what does the Cuba Gooding Jr. says in the movie Jerry Maguire?
Show me the money.
Money talks, my man.
Gustavo, you got a tough one here from an educated boxing fan. His name is Alex Vega from Palm Beach, South Florida. How and why boxers get ranked seem like an ever-evolving mystery to almost all of us fans, and I'm sure a lot of boxers as well. How is Abdullah Mason, who has never fought in a scheduled 10-rounder, get to be ranked number 13 under the WBO, when under the last president of the WBO, it took Keyshawn Davis to defeat former title challenger Anthony Yiggett in his first 10-rounder to get ranked? We have Cordell Booker ranked number 5, fighting the junior middleweight WBO title champion when he hasn't fought within the 154-pound limit in his last 3 fights. If you cannot or will not give an answer, or may eye contact to help find these answers, to help inform our great fellow boxing fans.
Okay, let's go. What was the first question as to Abdullah Mason? Why is he rated?
How is he ranked number 13 when he's never had a 10-round fight?
Easy. To be rated per the ABC ratings criteria, at least to get rated in the top 15, you need at least 2 bouts scheduled for 10 rounds, or at least 4 scheduled for 8 rounds. If you check his record, he's had 4, I believe, more than 4 bouts.
Yeah, he's had like 7 8-rounders.
So technically, per the ABC ratings criteria, he complies to be rated. That's for starters. So that's his first. That's his first question was duly responded. What's the second one?
The second one was about Cordell Booker being ranked number 5, having not fought in 54 in the last 3 of his last 3 fights.
Has he ever fought in 154? I'm not sure. Has he ever fought in 154?
Cordell, yes.
Well, if he's fought in 154 and his last 3 bouts, let me get him right here.
His last 3 should have been at 60.
Let me see. Let me get. I'm checking the box right real quick. Okay, his last 1, 2, 3, 4. His last fight was at 160.5. Before that, 155, 159, 153. So he's fought either above 154 or below 154. So he can fight at 154. What's the problem with that?
I don't know. That's his question.
He's got bouts scheduled for 10. Look, 1, 2, 3, 1. So more than 4 fights. More than 4 fights scheduled for 10. More than 4 fights scheduled for 8. So technically, he can qualify to be installed at the ratings. And you can argue, oh, well, why he's number 5? Well, that's a question for the ratings committee. And Fundor is doing a voluntary. So he can fight whoever fighter he wants, rated in the top 15. But technically, per the ratings criteria, he's qualified to be at 154. He's got more than 2 fights scheduled for 10 rounds, and he's got more than 4 fights scheduled for 8 rounds. And he has fought over the 154 limit as well, below the 154 limit. So he can fight at 150. He could be rated at 154. So what is third question?
No, that was it. It was just 2. The third was just, if you couldn't answer, how could he contact you to get a private answer? But you answered.
I hope that satisfies his questions. I try my best.
This next guy is no question. He's just saying Sebastian and his team do not intend to. Well, it is a question. It's just he says they do not intend to fight anyone good. What can be done about stripping him or getting him to fight someone good like a Charles Conwell?
No, the first thing when the fans need to understand this in the media, when fighters either get rated or win a title, they are entitled to what it's called property rights. In other words, they need to be guaranteed a due process. So I cannot strip a champion unless that champion contravenes or fails to comply with a specific rule. Fundora has complied with all the WBO rules. The question is, he has to satisfy his mandatory challenger, his mandatory title defense obligation. That once he fights Booker, he has to discharge that obligation against the mandatory challenger, which most likely be Xander Zayas, because Crawford is fighting Canelo. So probably Crawford is not coming back to 154, and most likely Crawford either will relinquish the 154 title, and therefore that paves the way to give Xander Zayas the shot at the title against Fundora, and Zayas become the mandatory. That most likely will be the scenario in the next coming weeks.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so we only got a few more. We'll get you out of here. It looks like 3 more. Next one is coming from James Benitez in Atlanta. He says, so is Charlie Suarez ranked number 1 by default? Bud getting a WBO interim at 154? Blatant favoritism. This got to stop, respectfully. And you literally are saying Crawford better than bigger guys at higher weight deserve, and saying he don't have to prove himself, but almost lost to Madrimov. So not really a question. I guess the Charlie Suarez is a question.
It's a tough crowd.
No, but Nestor, and guys, I like that, man. Criticize. We got to be. How do you call that? Scrutinize the sanctioning bodies. I love it. We may agree or disagree, but we got to be accountability. We got to be accountable to you guys, the fans, the stakeholders in boxing. So his first question was, can you repeat the first question?
Was Charlie Suarez, Charlie Suarez ranked number 1 by default?
I believe Charlie Suarez defeated a rated contender. He's not the mandatory 130 because the mandatory was Oscar Valdez when he was the interim champion when Navarrete moved up to 135 against Barachev for the vacant. He returned to 130. He fought Valdez, terminated the interim championship. So Charlie Suarez number 1, but not the mandatory. And I believe he occupied number 1 because he defeated a rated contender. I'll tell you now. Charlie Suarez. He defeated, I believe, Jorge Castañeda, who was rated. I got to check that one, but he's not the mandatory. What's the next question?
The other part of that was Bud and the WBO, and you're showing clear favoritism.
For the 154, Bud was 147 undisputed. He moved to 154, and Fundora at the time was injured and suspended by the Nevada State Athletic Commission after the Zoof fight. Remember his nose or something?
Yep,
he was suspended due to the injury and was unavailable to fight. So what we did was we did an interim, and Crawford's team requested to be sanctioned that fight for the interim title. And we sanctioned that fight because the champion was inactive due to an injury. And Crawford fight for the interim title. What's wrong with that? That's the purpose. That should be the legitimate purpose of an interim champion when a full champion suffers an injury whereby he's unavailable to defend. So it's not favoritism. It's boxing 101 interim championship. What's the next question?
The next one is the fact that you're literally saying that Crawford is better than the bigger guys at 68.
I got it. The Crawford Canelo thing. No. I just put it out to you guys. I haven't said anything. I haven't determined anything, nor I have conveyed to the committee how to act or move this way or that way. No. I just put it out for discussion.
But he is getting approved, Gustavo, because you guys don't have another, like, Crawford is your champion. Who else can you think off top that's fought for that many different versions of the WBO? He's literally the definition of what the WBO calls the super champion, right?
Yeah, he is. He is. But remember, Nestor, the fighter voluntarily agrees to which title he wants to fight for. You don't press a fighter, fight for this title. Fight. The fighter is presented with an offer and an opportunity by his promotional outlet, his advisor, manager, team, etc. And the fighter determines which route he wants to pursue. If Crawford wants to fight for the WBO since his career, wants to retire as WBO champion, he's always welcome, but that's a decision solely on the fighter. If Crawford feels that he's WBO to the core and to the bone, amen to that. But we don't put a gun on his, to push him to determine which title he wants to pursue. He feels good becoming a WBO champion. He gets the respect, the recognition, the credibility, the legitimacy, the love. So that's a decision on Crawford, and the doors are always open for Crawford and his team.
Last two, I promise. And thank you so much for giving us so much time. The last one
pleasure,
is
my man.
one of the last two. It says, "Who is the?" You don't have to answer this. Who is the most annoying promoter to deal with?
There's something in law called attorney-client privilege. I cannot disclose that information. But remember, this is a business, man. You can't take it personally, because you remember when Don King and Bob Arum, they were competitors, and allegedly they had their thing, but Bob and King were so smart. They said, if this is a good business for both of us, we'll make the business. And the same with the BO. I can have disagreements with promoters, managers, or some fighters, but I have to be objective, and I have to think on the long run for the future of the organization, for the betterment of boxers. And at the same time, if I have an issue with a promoter or a manager or an advisor, but I think the fighter really deserves a shot, has complied with everything, it's not the fighter's fault, I'll give him a chance, man. I can't take it personally. I have to think for the fighters and for the industry. But I'll reserve that response.
Great answer. That's a great answer.
I'm sliding one in for myself here, just because.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said you're a hustler, and I feel like I am, and this is something I would have done. Did you reach out to Espinoza he was a lawyer with Golden Boy before he became this Showtime executive? I mean, I want to believe Steven Espinoza is Latin with a name like Espinoza. Did you ever reach out for advice as a attorney getting into the boxing, or no?
No, I didn't know who to reach at that time. I had no involvement in the business whatsoever. I didn't know nobody from the business. I remember, excuse me, and I think Espinosa is a very smart guy. And I've seen him. I've said hello. I haven't had the chance to personally introduce myself, and I would like to do so. And also, pull out some information as to his experience and knowledge of the sport, because he's been a lawyer, from a promoter. He's represented fighters. He's represented streaming networks. So the guy, he's got some stripes in the business, and I respect that. So, but I didn't have nobody that could at least guide me through the proper channels. The only guy that ever gave me some sort of advice was a guy called Adrian Clark. Have you heard of him?
Hell yeah, man. He just sponsored my event for Saturday. Shout out to Adrian Clark. That's amazing.
AC is my guy. I remember I read a report on him, or an article on Forbes magazine, and I wrote an email to the guy out of the blue, and he responded. And then we started exchanging texts. And he was one of the first guys that told me, Gustavo, keep your mouth shut. Just pull your ears and try to hear everyone, and try to keep learning and evolving. When you have doubts, ask questions, be humble, grounded, and you'll learn. And I keep in touch every now and then. And he has a champion now. Brian Norman is his champion, 147. AC is my guy, man. Very, humble guy. He was the first guy that ever gave me some sort of advice in the business, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going in May to see Brian Norman, and hopefully I get to speak with him, and invite him to lunch. AC is a real OG. I like him, man. Real nice guy.
It's crazy that you say that, man. Because I'm older than AC, and obviously today I found out I'm older than you. But I look up to Adrian Clark. I can't believe how much he's done in this sport so young, and to hear this little story, it's just great. Shout out to Adrian and yourself. The
AC,
last,
man. That's my guy. AC is my guy.
yeah, for sure. The last question is from Huang out of Houston. He says, "Do you
Yeah.
think Turkey and Riyadh season are a good counter to promotional companies who seek to collect the belts of different sanctioning bodies so that only their fighters have a chance at winning those titles?"
Man, that's a good question. Remember that since this is an individual sport and each promoter has its own agenda in the sense of the way they do their business and with who they do their business. So I can't judge if a promoter wants to have his fighters fight in-house. I'll put and the house always wins, right? I'll put my fighters amongst themselves, or I'll do business with this sanctioning body or this streaming network or this sponsor. That's a prerogative of the promoter or even the fighters or their teams of how they want to do business. As to Turkey, trying to get everyone involved, trying to put everyone, the best fighting the best, I'm all for it, man. I love the concept of the Riyadh season. He's doing things differently, unique, paying the fighters very well. So it's a win-win for everyone, and wants to get involved with the sanctioning bodies as well, supporting them, the promoters, having everyone on their similar platform, the Zone, Top Rank, Queensberry through now they were with TNT, and now they're moving to the Zone. So that's a good question, but as long as the fighters are getting opportunities, getting paid well, keeping active, exposing their profiles, marketability, receiving endorsements, opportunities, I think it's a no-brainer. It's a win-win.
The last one snuck in by Jonathan Sims says, "What's the benefit of one belt? And from that benefit, how can the sanctioning bodies be better as five acting as one?" I think you kind of already answered that, right? That you all have different rules and
That is
policies.
that is very difficult, man, because everyone wants to have some sort of control, right? You have different perspectives, different mindsets, the way each one of us operates or thinks. For me, I could say Nestor deserves to be at the number one spot, whereby another colleague could say, no, he should be at number 3. The other colleague would say, well, he shouldn't be rated. He hasn't fought for our title and minor titles, or has not been en route through our development program. So it's very tough, man, to have only one title. Again, supply and demand, the opportunities. Everyone wants to have some sort of control. The egos. It's very tough, man. I don't see it. One title, I don't see it. We can have uniformity on some scenarios or circumstances, but everyone has their way to do things, their respective rules, the way they operate, and you have to respect that at the same time.
That is the last one, Gustavo, but I do want to slide in another one here. You have at least a dozen people that keep saying, ask if you're hiring or how to get involved with the WBO.
That was going to be my question, Ness. Are you hiring?
There you go. Everybody wants to work for the WBO after this interview.
We currently don't have vacancies, man. But what I'm trying to do is trying to make some changes and trying to incorporate young guys, professionals, so we can have a more fresher approach and perspective. I have to do that slowly because we also have lots of members that are veterans, knowledgeable, competent, with experience, standing, which I have to respect and defer to, right? You have to earn your stripes slowly but firmly, right? And I have to respect those that were before me. that they have been my mentors and still are. But it's a slow process. But eventually, if there are any vacancies for social media, all that sort of stuff, some internal personnel, legal work or something, we will announce it and publish it in our social media.
Gustavo, thank you so much. If you want to give out your social media in case anybody isn't following you, please do so.
Yeah,
and once again, thank you for all the time.
I'm active on Twitter. I'm active on Twitter under Olivieri, which is my last name, Olivieri Law, Olivieri Law.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you once again.
Amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. Nestor, you text me whenever you want to do a chat. Let me know.
I'd love to get you on my show. I have a show as well. I have a show as well. I'd love to get you on.
Okay, my man. Let's set it up. Text me. Nestor will give you my phone number. Text me directly. We'll set it up. My brother Boricua.
Thank you, Gustavo. Pase buena.
Okay, my man. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for having me. Take care. Bye-bye.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Gustavo Olivieri. And, special shout out to him because he's on Eastern time, just like Johnny. So it is late. He got the suit on. Salute to him. We appreciate him. A lot of great answers there. Salute to everybody that dropped the question. You guys make it a whole lot better for sure.
Yo, Ness, I just want to say shout out to you, man. That had to be one of the best interviews I've heard. It was so informative. I mean, he was on point. The chat was cooking. The questions were great. So shout out to all the community members. That was a dope interview, champ. I got to give you that. Appreciate that.
Nah, man. It was the community, bro. Without the questions, and he's just very candid, right? He was a great interview. He's not. I mean, he can talk and he's well spoken. I mean, you can tell he's an attorney. He can articulate himself. Just shout out to him. It's crazy, that he. I just text while I'm talking to him. I text Adrian like, bro, I had no clue, and he's like, yeah, bro, you never know who's gonna be somebody. That's the first thing he told me. You never know who's gonna be somebody, because look, Gustavo reached out to him for advice. Fast forward 10 years later, homie is the fucking president of the WBO. I mean, that's set for life, right? I didn't want to. Yeah. I'm not those dudes. I don't like asking about how much money you making, but like, you set for life, right? Like if Wilder's paying the WBC $40,000 every time he fights, the president got to be taking home a nice check, like annual salary.
He good.
Yeah.
So, damn, your life has changed. I would love an opportunity like that, bro.
And he's young. He's only 41 years old.
For real, bro.
41.
For real. Hey, yo, and to think that Paco did 30. So imagine he's on his first year. It's 29 to go. My man got banks to fill up, bro. Banks to fill up. Shout out. And he's good. He's good at what he's doing. You can tell. He's love. Sharp. Yes, he's sharp, and I love that he's active on social media, and he doesn't want to be WBO what Bob orders. He's trying to change, and I like that. I like that young blood, man. Yeah, man. Rakim, I don't know if you're still there. Okay, you are not. If anybody wants to call in, now is the time. I got a couple super chats we got to get to. Rocky Rodriguez, $5. I'll check the highlights Sunday morning. $80, too much. Thumbs down emoji. And he's talking about the Tank Roach fight. We got fight or flight boxing. Welcome to the prospect level. Yeah, I had to turn it off because, we got these bots in here, these trolls just typing crazy shit. It's like, yo, my man could see the live chat. I don't want him, to get offended. Like, we got ES, $5. Tanky Tank a pump. Julio Guzman with the $2. Sorry, but Tank gonna smoke a new way. Adrian with the $2. Troy looked like his wife put him on timeout. Michael Blackston, $2, celebrating his 10th super chat. He says, WBC ordered Bivol David. Will Bivol pick him or IBF? It ain't picking, baby. There's an order. Julio with the $2. Tank versus Inoue is much bigger than Tank versus Shakur. Julio back with another 2. Sad to say, Shakur is turning into Demetrius Andre. Damn. Leonard Not Leonard. H-Town, $2. David Benavidez, undisputed interim champ. That was wild. When he said David could just fight for the interim, I'm like, oh my God, my man's gonna have 3 interim titles, bro. Crazy what that cruiser 75-pound division is looking like right now. I got Rakim Gustavo. Can you elaborate on judge selection, as this is a controversial area in the sport? Rakim, you waited too long, bro. First come, first serve, bro. First come, first serve. Y'all sleeping, man. Y'all sleeping. As members, you guys need to be taking advantage. I'm always trying to interview. I told you, man, 2025, we trying to go up. So I'm working on the back end, always setting up interviews, scheduling, and I'm putting out the posts early because these interviews never happen when they supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So you see a post, you get that notification. Best thing you can do is drop your question ASAP to get in there, or you're going to be in the back of the line. We got Rakim back with another 5. That means 10. Ring the alarm. Please also elaborate on the organization's response to poor scorecards. Yeah, bro. Feel bad for you, player. I wish we would have got to that. We got J7 with the fat $10. Just a random topic. Does De Los Santos' relationship with Sampson have anything to do with Radio having no respect for Benavidez? I doubt it. I mean, because what does Jose got to do with knowing a friend that has a fighter that his fighter could fight? You know, you making it seem like, oh, he knows Sampson, so he set Radio up with De Los Santos. That's definitely not the case. He knows Sampson, so he got Radio a fight with someone he knows has a fighter. J7 back at another 5. He said, I just joined in the live, by the way. Tell the WBO president to make Benavidez versus Smith to unify interims. Haha. Actually, I didn't ask that, and I did read that because I had already talked about that. He'd already answered and said he wanted Benavidez to fight for his WBO interim. So your question was asked, my friend. It's just a matter of pressing rewind. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Help me out with the visibility. Help me out with these subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1 million. It's been a long road. You know, at this rate, I'll get there in another 100 years, I guess. If I'm at 200, well, I guess not. I guess maybe another 20-something years, we might be at 100. I mean, 1 million if we keep moving at this pace. We got Polo Buck, $5. I F with this interview. Ness, very informative for me. Keep them coming. Hashtag no days off. You already know. H-Town, $2. I like this guy. He cooking these so-called experts. Back with another 2. He says, I dubbed the chef Oliveri with a chef emoji. Polo Buck, good thing Troy wasn't on. He would have told Gustavo what he was doing wrong. My man got 21 thumbs up on that super chat. That's hilarious, bro.
Troy, my dude, but that's facts.
AG, what it do? That is hilarious. Yeah. He called me Nelson. He called me Nelson. It's all good.
What's up, TBV? How y'all doing?
Yep.
Shout out to you guys staying active, man. I logged off a little bit because I'm at work right now. I had to get off, but I'm back on. Hopefully to get me through the rest of my shift that ends tomorrow at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? But I'm more excited for the Rayo fight this weekend. I think it's going to be more exciting than the main event. We know in the main event what's going to happen, but that's all good. It's going to be entertaining, I guess. Hey, is Tone still there?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Hey, did you see David Benavidez is going to be in Vegas March 1st?
Yeah, he's gonna be out there doing a meet and greet. Yep.
Bro,
Yep.
how sick would that be if he slipped through the fucking Border Wars event?
I know. I might have to hit up Emily.
His meet and greet. Yeah, his meet and greet's at 3 p.m. So I'm like, maybe you can make it. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be epic.
Hell yeah. Damn, David Benavidez undisputed interim champ. That's diabolical, man. Goddamn.
Nasty word.
Hey,
That's
but
metabolic.
Nasty word. But I'm on Two Tones type of energy though, because David Benavidez is young. He's gonna be the champ. There's gonna be all roads lead to him. and eventually he's going to be the king of the hill. He's going to be on top, and it's gonna be a good time once he gets there. But until then, we just got to go through the growing pains and just work it out. But yeah, that's all I got. Really, I was kind of hoping that you guys you would have a what was that for the event this weekend? What's it called? The fucking press conference. Man, that would have been sick. For the at least Keem and fucking CYP, that would have been pretty cool.
Word.
But it's all good. Keem's a busy man. But yeah, I like those odd changes, man. That seems a little more realistic. Hey, that big bet that came in for CYP first round knockout, you said, Ness?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I just text you. I'm gonna send you the flyer.
I just saw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the flyer.
We need a virtual press conference, though. We need that.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Hey, man, seriously.
I'm about to hit CYP.
Oh,
Somebody
that's badass.
got King, Johnny.
I'm gonna repost
Johnny
that flyer.
King.
All right, champ. Let me get to some callers. AG, you the man.
Right,
We got Robbie Straight. What up?
Hello.
Yo. Damn, 29 thumbs up on that Polo Buck Troy comment. Lord.
Yo, what up, Ness?
What up?
Yo, man, I know you remember the Thriller in Manila, or Here Comes Tank the Gorilla versus Godzilla. Yo, I'm all aboard for it. Even though Tank should be fighting Shakur, Keyshawn, Lomo. Well, you know what? I'm on board for that. Even if he fight Cruz next, that's who I think he's fighting after this. Then Cruz is gonna win. They're gonna set up a fight in Mexico, and then probably a new way. You know what? I won't be mad at him. Even though he deduct all his contemporaries, but if he ends it like that, I won't be mad at him. And I'm going to the Barclays too. As much as I hate on Tank, I'm going there just to see that spectacle, just to see that beatdown, 18-1 underdog. I'm coming through. Tank's a duck, yeah, but you know what? I'd be paying to see that fucking duck. Excuse my language, that's all, man. I'm sorry. All right, that's it. I'm out.
Robbie, you the man, champ. You the man. Hey, yo, I got some audio video right here of my man El Rayo telling us how he feel. Let's see what's up.
I lost all respect for that guy. So,
Rayo, when we talked to you in our Fight Hub Live chat, we said there's numerous fights for you and continue for your career. What are the big names that you're still searching for? You're coming off a huge win with Pitbull Cruz, but what are the names out there you're still looking for?
I want a big fight.
I guess that's all he gonna say about Jose. I wonder what the hell happened, bro. I need that exclusive, bro. What happened that all of a sudden he lost all respect for him?
That's crazy, man.
And then he fired him during Pro Box while he was coaching the main event.
Wow, bro. Wow.
Damn.
What happened there, yo? I mean, Jose used to call him that. Jose used to call him his son, bro. Like, what really happened, bro? Giovanni, get on guard.
We got to squash that, man.
There ain't no loyalty in boxing, man.
Yo, Ness, what's word?
What it do?
Back again, second try, second run, And I'm gonna say this: we're gonna get a good fight tomorrow. We're gonna see what Tank can do. Look, as long as Roach stay off the ropes, he have hope. I'm out.
All right.
Damn.
Y'all saw Roach hitting shit, right?
Hitting what? Hitting what?
Media work?
What he was hitting though? What he was hitting?
The
mitts. Pad word mitts.
Oh, send a clip. Send a clip.
That was at Gleason's. It was at Gleason's today.
We got Mark Blake, $10. Shout out TBV. Another great interview. Hardest working channel on YouTube. Appreciate you, champ. Appreciate the support. We got Mr. Negative.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
All right, good evening. Shout out to everyone on the panel. Shout out to the chat. And yeah, man, shout out to the channel, man. We've gotten, I would say, the last three interviews I've heard. Obviously, the president of WBO, Gustavo, Berlanga, and then as well as the Schofields. So shout out to them for taking time to come onto the channel and speak their piece. It was really great to hear from them, and I think we got a lot of good information from all three of them, whether you believe it or not. You know, to get them to speak, you know, their mind or from their perspective or what they want you to believe. It's good to hear instead of just being silenced or seeing a social media post. More fighters, please. You know, if you're listening, you know, hit up Ness. Let's get you on the show, and let's hear what you got to say. You know, your voice is the first thing we may hear, and that may bring us to watch you when you do fight. In regards to the topic, hopefully I got 3 fights this year. You know, if you've been following the game, the boxing game that is, you know, PBC, they're definitely not one to keep you active. You know, as we see when it comes to Amazon Prime, I think we've only gotten a handful of shows, you know, what, in the past year or I can't even tell you when when they started putting on shows because it just feels like an eternity. You know, we've only gotten what, the Zoo, Fundor, that was last year. And it's been like a blur since. I know we've gotten a Tank, Frank, we've gotten David versus David. You know, you know what? We saw Zoo get knocked out, but really there hasn't been much else that I can think of the top of my head. So him saying hopefully is a key word, but you know, him being, as Two Tone calls him, the junior face of boxing, he should be able to make it happen. You know, shout out to Tanke. You know, he's talking about walking economy. Isn't that what Tank Davis is? You know, we seen him put 15,000 in Staples Center on a Sunday against a late replacement. Now he's back-to-back shows at Barclays Center setting a record, you know, for the gate. The highest gate I think they said ever, or maybe just for a fight, but I think the ever over there at the Washington Capitals arena, Capital One Center arena, whatever it may be called. You know, he did like 5 million. So the man obviously helps print money. So if he wants to fight 3 times this year, I'm sure if he's healthy, I'm sure he can make it happen. Now, who are the opponents going to be? Boy, I don't even want to give myself a headache, man, because didn't see Lamont Roach coming. So what is it? He said he had a hit list or 7-fight deal. Now he's talking about, you know, he wants to retire after a couple fights or after a year. So who knows where this may go? But I just want to address something when it comes to that last interview. So the man says, you know, he's trying to get basically away from that label, WB, what Bob orders. Yeah.
You may feel like it's your time.
That's my bell. It's okay. Run me for another one. I got you, bro. So he talked about Charlie Suarez, right? And he said, oh, yeah, you know, he fought Castanet. I got to check the notes. Listen, I checked the notes. Don't worry. I got you. You know what I'm saying? No, Castanet was not ranked. Nope. I checked July. I checked August. I checked September. Who is Charlie Suarez with? Huh. Is he with Top Rank? Oh, okay. Cool. You know, Albert Bell was ranked high when he was with Top Rank. It wasn't, you know, a big deal when, you know, he wasn't fighting rated guys. Then all of a sudden he leaves and now fuck him. That's how it feels like. Throw him out. Don't order anything. Because do you remember an Albert Bell ordered fight? And it's like you know, I remember him making a reference to it, but I didn't feel like there was a real answer. Shout out to him. He's an attorney.
I think
you know,
just
very good speaker.
Just the Archie Sharp fight. That's the only one that was ever ordered, no?
No, they never ordered it. You know how I know? Because actually I had an interaction with Albert Bell and Archie Sharp, and they said that they wouldn't order it. Instead, what did they order? They ordered Oscar Valdez versus Liam Wilson. Both guys that, if I'm not mistaken, had lost to the champ already. Interesting. Who do those guys fight under? Or at least Oscar Valdez. Who does he fight under? What's the promotion called? Oh, Top Rank. Okay, cool. Interesting. Cordell Booker, right? Not a Top Rank fighter, so we give him the pass there. So he talked about last 3 fights, blah, blah. Oh, but the 4th fight, has he ever fought at 154? Well, how about the last time he tried to make 154, he missed weight? How about that? How about the man who publicly said, I'm gonna fight a campaign at 160. For the right fight, I'll go to 154. So you keep him ranked at 154. Nothing against Cordell Booker. Seems like a really nice guy. Another good interview. A guy that's just gonna answer, be himself. Shout out to Cordell, man. I hope he does well. And I gotta watch tape. And I'm rooting for him because of the way he carries himself as a man. But I gotta watch tape, and then I can give a pick, obviously, when the fight come up. But yeah, man, it's just listen. It's great for him to take this time to sit down with us. I'm talking about he sat down for a while, answered every question. We appreciate you, but bro, I know a bullshitter when I hear one, and that man is a great bullshitter. Shout out to
What?
him. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to all the real boxing fans. I gotta go.
Who was the BSer?
He talking about the president.
Yeah, Gustavo.
Mm. Yeah,
We
man.
got Tip Bellis. What up, champ?
Yeah, that you get that footage. It looked like Roach about to get put to sleep, man. Early.
Yo, what it do, Don?
What up?
Yo.
Man, let me thank the president of the WBO for jumping on this show. You know what I'm saying? First of all, but yeah, man, I with the Thurman situation, man, that's nasty, bro. That's nasty. Like the question was very detailed that he moved up like unlike Earl Spence, you know what I'm saying, who has never moved up to 154 and fought at 154, you know what I'm saying, which he stated earlier.
Bro, but he
Earl Spence
fought
had
at
never fought at
54
54.
in 2012, champ.
Listen to what he said, bro. When after the question was asked, he said Keith Thurman had never fought at 54. Go back and listen to what he said. He still went on to say that Keith Thurman never fought at 54. And we all know Thurman fought at 54, and he fought at 54 against a former champion. You
But
know what
I,
I'm
I
saying?
told him that. I told him he fought versus Carlos
And,
Quintana.
and he bypassed it. He hurried up and bypassed that question. Like he smooth sailed past that question, bro, because he caught himself. He caught himself. I'm glad all those questions was asked before but the Thurman question even came up, bro. But he caught himself. He trapped himself with that, and he skipped over it. He zoomed past it. He wasn't gonna go back to it. I'm mad you ain't double down, but it is what it is. We need to keep people around. You know what I'm saying? For the best interest of the show. But yeah, man, I just didn't like the response to that question. And then for him, you know what I'm saying, to be champion and Crawford moving up to 68 like that, bro. Like you said, with all these dudes at 68 can't even beat him. You know what I'm saying? It's just nasty, bro. That's nasty, man. I don't like it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, bro, we need to have integrity in the sport, man. And people don't uphold their integrity, bro. If he ain't never fought at 68 and he not challenging other fighters at 68, you know what I'm saying? Then he shouldn't even be contesting for a title, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, bro, I wish I would have two-parted that question because they didn't even let Jamel fight for the title when he moved up to fight Canelo, bro. So that's what we really should have challenged it at. And then if you want to talk about fighters being out for a year, Terence Crawford, he's going on a year of being in activity. Same way Charlo was out for a year of inactivity. So bro, like honestly, bro, like this is like I said, bro. People don't hold integrity in the sport, man, and it's just nasty how they work and operate, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And like I said, man, some people they just ain't fighting for legacy. They don't want to define their legacy at a certain weight class. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then they should be getting stripped of their title. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason they should be holding on to the title, holding up a division, as you say. You know what I'm saying? When they're moving up two whole weight classes. You know what I'm saying? Year of inactivity. Didn't he say they should be stripped because of that? Like, what are we doing here? That's crazy, bro. Like, why? So we're gonna let him move up, fight at 68, not defend his title at 54. That's just holding up the division, bro. You know what I'm saying? We need to move on. But hey, shout out to him, man.
You may feel like it's your time, but it's not your time.
CYP.
Yo.
Yo.
What up, y'all? Y'all had a good little interview. Good always listening to the guys that be holding up boxing, all the forward belts be getting on my goddamn nerves. But dudes seem cool. And shout out to all the people who scared of Mauricio to just say exactly what Mauricio said.
said, yes, you're the mandatory to Canelo, but I'm not going to force Canelo to fight you this year. I'm just not. He literally says it. He said it, and they wrote it down. I heard him say it, and I saw the article too. Like, cut the cap. It don't matter what the fuck Benavidez is going to do. Mauricio told him, I'm not going to force Canelo to fight you this year, dog. I'm not. Get over it. Life goes on. He moved up 175. It happens. Secondly, hey, oh yeah. Anybody who wants their TBX shirt, you got to hit my Cash App, CYP Training. I'm picking them up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Don't say I didn't tell you. CYP Training is a Cash App. They cost $20. I will have them for you. If you want a CYP shirt, then say that too, because I'm gonna be CYP'd up. So we'll have two different shirts you could buy. They're gonna be all black, because that's how I rock, with the white lettering. Let y'all know what's up with it, so you're gonna know what's up. And it was funny because one of my clients, the white lady, was like, "Yeah, I actually watched the show, and the guy with the glasses." I was like, "Yeah, that's Ness." They was like, "Yeah, it's a different kind of show, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Wow, okay, yeah, you're a little different on there, huh?" I said, "Yeah, I don't fuck around on there." She's like, "Ooh." Yeah. She was like, "Yeah," and she was like, so some of your clients are going, right?" I said, "Yeah." They asked me could they go, and I'm like, I try to tell them. I say, "Now the dude you're gonna see is not the dude that be training y'all." I said, it's a grown man environment. I said, we all grown men. I said, you know what I'm saying? I said, so and she was just laughing her ass off because her son played baseball, so she's been around sports parents. So she like, look, I'm ready. I said, I'm gonna watch. Other people showing up. Like I said, it's going down, man. It's really bringing, it's bridging gaps and shit. You got rich white people concerned and they want to see what's going on. They excited. You got regular people. You got hood people. You got everybody, being down with Border Wars, man. So I'm saying first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to you, Ness, because you put this shit together. You held it down because you could have gave up on this shit years ago. So hold it down to you because I think it's reaching new heights. You know what I'm saying? I also want to say thank you to myself because I am the impressive one. Let's just keep it 1,000. And y'all have been graced with my presence. And on Saturday, y'all gonna see what's up and see why people fuck with me. You gonna see why. You gonna see why. You gonna fucking see why. And so again, all bullshit aside, if you want the shirt, let me know. You got to hit the Cash App right now. CYP Training. If not, I'm not getting your shirt. It's reality. Don't come say asking for none because they probably gonna be for people who coming in from Vegas or whatever because they want to support. But we a brand, we building. And, I'm doing all this shit to give y'all a great show. That's a fact. And shout out to Gomez, who predicted that first round knockout because in reality, that shit is very, 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 very possible. If Keem dropped that guard the wrong way, I'm going to break his fucking jaw. So in reality, doggy, like, nigga, I feel sorry for your mother. I just do. I feel sorry for your mother. It's going the fuck down. And I need to know more information on how to bet. Because my wife want to put money on me, and I want to put money on me. I wonder if King's putting money on himself because we know J Mac and JT are not putting money on him. But I just find it crazy that we willing to blow the bank for the confidence that we got in our team, but their team ain't willing to do shit. That shit crazy, man. I don't know why y'all been fooled. I don't know why y'all been fooled by this food. And I'm telling you, I've been starving myself, so I'm fucking hungry. CYP out. CYP out. TBX. I'm gone.
All right, champ. That looks like, let me double check here. I see you, Hugo, but we definitely got to you, champ. Let me make sure you sent that Cash App for the super chat, for the counter punch. Because we got to you, player, Himalaya, 1 call per person. Second call, little counter punch. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and smash that thumbs up. We got Daniel Navarrete, $5. I will never lose respect for someone who takes me in their home. Shaking my head. Team Benavidez, salute. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Rayo, man. I don't know what's up with
What do you
Rayo.
mean, like with him and Benavidez? Yeah.
Yeah, like I really want that story, bro. Like what happened? What happened?
Yeah, I want to find out too. Hopefully they can squash that, man. Dude looked at Jose like a father figure, so it's crazy, man.
Word. I wonder. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that video because it seemed like he didn't elaborate, But everybody's sending me the same damn video.
Nah, he didn't elaborate at all. I wonder what was actually did they get the question in there?
I mean, he just said, I lost all respect for that dude. That's all he even said.
Yeah, man. Bearded Rayo faces Antoine Russell. They talking spicy. You might get a good squabble out there.
Wait, PBC got a March 22nd card? Tip? Who's fighting on March 22nd? Is that the free card?
And Elijah Garcia.
Oh no, ain't that the Tim Zoo card?
Or when Keith Thurman fighting?
15th or the 12th? One of those.
Damn, that's coming up.
Yeah, that's on the way.
That's
We about to wrap it up. Nest GTO, Instagram and Twitter. We right back at it tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 a.m. 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. Yeah, Tone, where can they find you, champ?
Find me on YouTube, Two Tone the Superstar, man. We'll be back in the morning.
Word. Peace.
Peace.